was in the studio with Kanye. Already, I'm like, this is the best day of my life. And then Drake walked in.
So I know you're a huge fan of Kanye West.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard about this whole anti-Semitism thing he's been talking about?
What?
Yeah.
How much was the music video for Ha Ha Ha?
Oh, my God. I spent like $1 million.
Do we get more Dave or no?
Me and Benny act that way. This guy's my best friend. We're just talking, naked in the shower.
Who's bigger?
Him. My dick looks like a raisin.
There was that stuff with Theo on, he was upset. How do you deal with something like that?
I'm happy that you brought that up. What I crave deep down is like the undeniable love and respect of everyone on earth.
I crave deep down. I literally thought it was gonna be like just inner peace.
This is the best form of clothing.
It's very nice. It's very, especially in the
hockey
wintertime.
jersey.
In the wintertime is
Why though? Why?
I don't know why. There's just something about it. It's like with the drawstrings, whatever these are. It's just like I'm so attracted to it. Not sexually, just like as I just want to only wear that type of.
Is it versatility or you think it's just cool? It's that cool.
I think hockey jerseys are the coolest sports jersey to wear. Like if I was just wearing a basketball jersey right now, it would look
Can I be honest? Underrated is a baseball jersey.
Yeah, baseball jersey is cool. Baseball jersey is cool.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the edge.
The long sleeve and then the breathe. I don't know. And then now that they have these necks and the string, it feels like a fashion piece.
Yeah, exactly. You can like accessorize almost.
Yeah.
I don't like when they do the hockey jersey over the hoodie though. Like to me, that feels like that is too juvenile. Like it's like kind of like college behavior.
And there are some people that are wearing it ironically, and by some people,
you mean white people?
White people, yeah. That's exactly what I meant.
Why'd you like Alex?
I don't know. I think I lost my train of thought or something like that, and then I was drawn to him. He's a handsome guy.
He never played hockey a day in his fucking life.
That's where he's from.
This is my
It's identity.
That's how I know black people are climbing up the socioeconomic
Your hair looks
ladder.
good, by the way. I just want to point this out.
Oh,
like the twists are new or something?
Nah, I got it retwisted yesterday. Thank you.
So it is. So it's new.
Yeah, retwisted.
Oh, okay.
It's not new.
I mean, it is.
He's never taken a compliment.
Dave, this is new. I think we started the podcast, guys. We're here with Dave, everybody.
Let's go.
Dave Burdowski in the building.
Thank you, guys.
My boy, how are you? What's going on? This is.
I'm great. We're in the Big Apple.
Yeah.
I know you guys are used to it. I'm not. Every time I come here, I'm like, wow, what a new.
Philly's not far. You probably came here a lot.
I did, but it was different. Like when I actually didn't come that often as a kid. I would come on like school field trips, and then we'd go to like Times Square, and I would get hustled out of my money, and like that was my experience of New York City. But coming as an adult man with like friends that live here in different areas and pockets, it's just a totally different atmosphere now.
Okay, we won't be offended.
Yeah.
Honest take on New York City.
Well, I don't know that I could live in New York City.
I knew we were gonna get some good. I knew we were gonna get
But I don't know that I
Why
can.
not? Why not? Is that too many Jews? Be honest.
a lot. One.
I'm just the type of, I just like space. Like, I think it really comes down to my desire to have space. And like, even this is totally not New York City, and I don't even know why my brain is going to this point, but I just went to the Amalfi Coast this past, like a few.
Listen, let me tell you something. You're gonna be playing padel in 6 months. Just wanna let you know.
Never been there, seen it in pictures, really excited to go to the Amalfi Coast.
Okay.
I get there. Have you guys ever been there?
He has.
Oh my goodness.
I get there. Well, I hated it.
Where'd you go? Positano?
Yeah.
I knew it. You can't go to
You
Positano.
can't even, the amount
That's
of
a rich combo.
I can't run left to, like if I can't move like more than this amount of wall space left to right.
Awful, awful, awful.
I'm just like, I feel trapped. I feel like there's nothing for me here when and the water is cool, I guess, but I've never liked an ocean view. I find it very one-dimensional.
Wait, okay. One-dimensional?
I never have been like the beach guy. I live in Venice, and I live in Venice, LA, and I go to the beach once every 4 years.
But I'm kind of with you. What about
Hold on.
Trees. I'm a forest guy. Back up to trees.
I'm actually with you.
I'd rather like
It's so funny.
Okay, hold on. So you don't. I've never been a beach view guy. Is that what you said?
Yeah, well,
most expensive real estate in the world.
I've been to plenty of beaches, and I go there and I get so bored. I just sit there and I look, and everything is just flat, and like there's just no texture. I would rather be in a situation where like every tree is different looking, and I'm just like,
You want to be in the Bob Ross painting.
I
mean, with the mountains and all that, the trees.
And there's little creatures. There's woodland creatures you can look at. There's things you can hike.
It's so one-dimensional.
Yeah, I get that.
And like, beyond being hot and boring, like what do? You sit there?
Yeah,
you just sit there.
The beach life is unbelievably boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never liked it. Anyway, so I went to the Amalfi Coast, and I just felt very constrained as far as like being able to like run left
Did you
and
go
right.
anywhere else? Did you leave Positano? Positano is objectively awful.
I mean, no, I didn't.
It's just a tourist trap.
So touristy. I couldn't
Every
believe it. I was
store
like,
is for
what is
trinkets.
this?
There's no culture,
It's just
nothing.
trinkets and one road.
Yeah.
And an ocean view.
And
All
like the sand is black.
Anyway,
Not,
so
you
New
know.
York City's
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Listen, you know what I mean?
Black sand
All color
sounds
sand
fire.
is great. You know what I mean?
Black sand sounds fire.
The whiter
By
and
the way,
pinker
stayed in a
sand is.
hotel.
Yeah.
Stayed in a hotel, and they were
The
like,
Cyrenus.
no, the other one.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
And it was really, there was a lot of things I loved about the hotel.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
great service, and I did feel like a little White Lotus-y, like, wow, like this is really like the top of the line hotel.
Yeah.
But they were like, it's the only private beach in Positano. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, great. At least we have our own
Pietro.
beach. I go to the
Oh, you
beach.
went to El San Pietro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a hunk of concrete. It's like a prison yard.
They carve it out of
Yeah. I was like, this can't be the private beach. Like, it's literally a hunk of
I
rock.
don't want to do this, but you calling Positano Beach a prison yard is the whitest thing I've ever heard in my life. I can't. I feel bad doing that to the white guy, but it really leapt out at me.
Yeah, I understand.
You call
is,
that a
though.
prison
Sometimes I
yard?
say the wrong thing.
But you know what? It is though, Dave. It is a fucking prison yard, and sometimes we have to like be, submit ourselves. to
Yeah,
that.
and you would know because you've been to prison. You know what I mean? Like you've been, like you're from there.
Visited, yeah. But anyways, New York, there's a lot that I think I would I love being here like a week at a time, and I might even like being here like for a full season.
No way.
Like
Dave.
6 to 9 weeks of like, I'd love to like figure out something to shoot here that like puts me here when like the weather is right,
That is true.
Right?
Fall,
Yeah.
fantastic in New York.
Yeah.
Fall in New York
Yeah,
is the
fall's
best.
nice.
Fall is
There's
the
a lot
best.
of charm. And just as far as aesthetic, I think a lot of the shows and movies that I see shot in New York just jump out and look better to me than the shows that are
There's
shot
an
in LA.
energy to it for sure.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm happy to be here.
Why are you here?
I'm actually, I put out a soundtrack album called Penis,
Penis.
to
Yes,
my
of
TV
course.
show.
Actually.
Yes.
And I figured I'd make the rounds a little bit.
How much was the music video for Ha Ha Ha?
Oh my God.
I know I'm counting pockets, but you just
I'll
said
tell
you were
you.
on Amalfi.
A lot of
so
explosions.
Self-financed.
I didn't ask that, but I like.
So no, it all came out of my pocket.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. You know what? Self-financed.
In case you didn't know, you paid for it.
That's how you know the money still matters.
Honestly, it was kind of reckless. I spent like $1 million. And
What?
Yeah, and it was $1 million in Lithuania.
So $1
I had to
million.
go all the way to
Wow.
Lithuania to be able to even afford this video. Like if I tried to shoot this video in LA, it would have cost me like $5 million.
That's the thing. It looked incredibly
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, and it was like, oftentimes I'm down to like invest in something that I know can be like a Freaky Friday, huge smash hits. I knew that this song it couldn't ever beat. It's not designed. It's not like a pop song. It's essentially a 4-minute verse. You know what I mean? But I love it so much, and I just really wanted. I've always wanted to make a video like this that like didn't rely on being funny. That was just like epic filmmaking and like really unique things. So I went out to Lithuania. By the way, great host country for the event, and it was.
How long could you stay there? Like if you had to, like
I
how
was
much?
very charmed by Lithuania.
Yeah, many weeks, maybe a month or two.
Yeah, many. It rains every day. It rains every day. I've never seen anything like it. And it's freezing. I immediately, by the way, once I finished that video, immediately got like bronchitis. Like I couldn't even move. Like fever for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the price you pay, though. But I am really proud.
The price is $1 million.
$1 million plus bronchitis.
Yeah. But I'm really happy. Like, at least I didn't pay $1 million and was like, oh man, this missed the mark. Like, I really think, like, creatively, I look at it and I'm very.
No, the video's sick. It's shot sick.
Yeah,
but it
I'm
was
excited.
one of those things where I was like, this looks like one of the most expensive fucking videos. To put that in perspective, $1 million, right? Do you remember, you're 35, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember when Diddy, old Diddy, we can talk about it, put out Victory?
Oh yeah, I mean all those videos. I grew.
That was $1 million.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say "Hate Me Now." "Hate Me Now" was also $1 million.
Oh, that was the
him and Nas.
that was Nas. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but $1 million back then is probably like 3-4 million.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
I was
crazy.
going to say that too. So
What
you're
a
not a
fucking-
dickhead. No,
that was
What an asset. It's not a back in the day million, buddy. You had to go to Lithuania still, you know?
yeah.
But still, $1 million fucking dollars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I just kind of also know I'll never. I like. There's certain things where you know you will make your
How
investment
much
back.
have you made back on the AdSense? Can we look at that?
The video has like 1.2 million views. Even I think YouTube views are down. Like I think
The whole website. YouTube.com is going through recession.
but no,
Enough to get the antibiotics for the bronchitis.
but it'll live forever.
Made its money back.
It'll
It will live forever.
It will live
And
forever.
I'm really I just like it's a new thing that I've never done, and like I loved acting in that first scene, like getting into character in a different way, and I just thought it was just I have no regrets.
I love that you are always willing to flex your artistic muscles.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I just like even the concepts that you'll talk about shooting in Dave. I'm like, that's incredibly artistic, even though he's never going to do that. Like the end of season 1, you had the video, the episode you were thinking about shooting, and then season 2, the VMA performance. I was like, these, even not getting done, really fucking artistic ideas.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I definitely put my best foot forward and try as hard as I can to be great.
Okay. Now.
Buckle up, Dave.
You get to do whatever you want when you make music. You get to shoot whatever you want. You put your own money up. It's under your total control.
Yeah.
Then you go to big bad Hollywood. How frustrating.
Shackle me.
Well, yo, why would they do that?
They made you put out an environmental video just so you could get the show, dude. Unbelievable.
Thank you for saying
Wait, what happened with this? What happened with
It's
this?
talking about my Earth video. Just trying to do my part.
Frustrating beyond belief, or they kind of let you do your thing?
I'm pretty fortunate, and like FX is a really creator-friendly network. And
They
like,
will let you cook.
Yeah, they let me. They kind of knew what they were signing up for, I think. And then once you prove yourself, I think they're like, this guy knows what he's doing. And I've never really felt like creatively hampered in a way where like I wanted to do something and like executives are like, no, you can't do that. Like I've never experienced that.
Cool.
I'm sure I will one day.
Yeah.
But I think at least I kind of have made my start has been one where I think I am known for being like a creative. Whatever, risk taker.
You go for it.
Yeah, I
You
go
for
for
sure
it. So
go
I
for
think
it. I
anyone
love that.
who like gets in business with me
That's
will be
what they
getting.
expect
That's what they're
almost.
signing up for. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine that I would be in a situation where all of a sudden I'm being shackled. I couldn't even. And going into it, I was definitely nervous. I was like, who the fuck are these people that are going to tell me like what jokes are funny?
Yeah.
And like, because you're right. In music, I have no like oversight. I do whatever I want at all times. But now I'm not the one for. I'm not paying. I can't pay whatever how much it costs to make a season of Dave. I can't front that money.
Yeah, what is that like?
It's a lot of money, and so I need Disney Corporation to shell it out. And so it is kind of there are things that are out of my control, but I'm just lucky that I've been trusted, and I think I've delivered.
Guys, Life Tour, Charlotte. Thank you so much for selling out the show. We added a second show in Charlotte. Also, Nashville, we are coming. Austin, we are coming. Phoenix, we added a second show. San Francisco, you sold out all 4 shows. That's incredible. We'll see what we can do about that. But thank you guys so much. More cities are also available at theandrewschultz.com. Go there. If there are tickets left, go check them out. And Philadelphia, you're up next. I will see you there soon. Peace.
Also, guys, you got to hurry up and get your tickets. We sold out the last 2 weekends in a row. Every show, and this weekend at San Jose Improv looks like it's going to sell out as well. 2 are already gone. The other 2 tickets are limited. Then February 22nd through 24th, Oklahoma City. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of tickets available for that show. That shit is looking a little pathetic. So hurry up and come through so I don't look like an asshole. Also, March 1st and 2nd, Greensboro. March 8th and 9th, Stamford, Connecticut. And this is a biggie. I'm going to be in the Netflix Is a Joke Festival. That's right. I'm going to give you guys exact dates soon, but your boy is selling out. You know what I mean? Not just selling out tickets. I mean, soon I'm going to be a corporate shill, and I can't fucking wait. I don't ever want to talk to y'all again. Fuck you, Alex. Tickets at akashsing.com.
Now, do you want to do more, Dave? Like, what's happening with Dave? All this crazy success, everybody talking about it.
Yeah.
Darling. I mean,
You're
an
a darling.
absolute darling.
You're a darling.
Loved by
Yeah.
the people and the industry. Very rare.
Yeah, that
Very
is-
rare.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Do we get more Dave or no?
Well, we're talking about it right now. Honestly, I really am in the headspace right now. So what happens was the writer's strike happened. I then had time off to like finally like finish like certain songs that were in the show and put the soundtrack album together, and like I got back to making music truly for the first time in like 5 years, was able to focus on music. And then I really totally refell in love with making, like I came into this making music, and it's been truly 5 years since I've been able to like actually focus on it for more than like 6 weeks at a time. And I'm right now, like I'm spending every day making music and fully like thrilled by that idea, to the point where I don't know how long I'm gonna work on music, but I also know that, you know, the show has kind of reached this height, whatever that is.
Ty.
I don't believe my music career has reached that height that my show has reached.
So you want the music to reach Dave's success?
Kind of. I mean, I feel like I'm capable of it. And I feel like truly, you know, how much time do I have left on this earth of going for it as a rapper? Like in 10 years, I don't know. It might be like, if I'm still rapping, you might be like, we got to talk about this, Dave. So I'm just really anxious to maximize my potential as a musical artist, because I've just never, so like right now my focus on, but look, the story of my life is ongoing. I'm sure we're going to have experiences today that.
I feel like it's going to be a while since we get more Dave. I kind of feel that's what
I don't know. I really am just trying to, like, I've been like 1 foot out of music, 1 foot in, like for a while, and I just like am really relishing the opportunity. But we're just starting to talk about all these things, and time will tell. But you know, right now I'm so satisfied with like the 3 seasons I just cranked out, and like where I left off with Brad Pitt and Drake. I'm just like thrilled.
The Drake thing is wild.
You know, I feel like this season especially, not only do it's the one, I'm pretty self-critical about what I make. Like every season I'm like, that was cool, but I know I could do this better. Like that was cool. Truly, like season 3, I watch it and I'm like, I don't know if I could do that better. Like, wow. Like I'm like, that was like done perfectly.
So personally, you feel as fulfilled as possible.
I feel pretty fulfilled. Like, like literally, like the last experience I have being on set with Brad Pitt and like giving him direction, he's looking at me like I'm like a Coen brother.
How
my God, he took my breath away.
Smells good? Smells good?
Oh, I bet he smells.
I have a bad sense of smell.
Like, but I'm
not gonna lie to you.
Like a masculine, like kind of muscle.
You gotta, you taste the air.
I'm telling you, first off, when he walks on set, everyone, like, their posture change, you know what I mean? Everyone has such a sense of purpose.
Even the men, right?
Oh, especially the men.
Wow. So they know there's a pecking order.
And this guy couldn't be like nicer, and not in like a way.
Better be.
Not in a way where it feels like he's like trying to be nice, so like you say good things about him. It just feels like that's his natural. Genuine, like so down to earth, so cool. Couldn't say enough good things about this man. And
hug him at all? Did you give him a hug?
Oh yeah.
Held him too?
Very in shape as fuck. Like he's in such good shape.
So still.
By the way, tatted up in a way that tatted
up.
You
Oh, that's
realize.
Wait, I didn't know this.
And like cool tattoos.
Like what? Like what?
I don't know. Like I don't know what they are.
I saw him in Fight Club, but I was too busy looking at the V.
Yeah, the V's were crazy.
To really take in any tattoos.
Tats.
No.
Get out of here.
So he's just a badass
He's a
fucking
badass
stunt.
guy. He's cool. Like he was really like, I would say the coolest guy I've ever met.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Look at his arm. Look at his arm.
Oh, there
That's
it
a
is.
cool arm. For real, that arm is cool as fuck. Look at the veins. He's got a bracelet.
He walks in. You know, there's some people that like own their celebrity. Like they walk in a room, they know all eyes are on them, and they're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I saw Hugh Jackman do that once. Like he just walked around, he started introducing himself, and he knows everybody in the room knows it's fucking Wolverine.
Yeah, it's Hugh.
And there are some people that, you know what I mean? They pretend that they're not famous, and they do that thing where they're like, hey, you doing? I'm Hugh. Hey.
But what are you gonna do? I feel like that's like how could you not do that as a famous person? I don't know. I would feel lame like if I was Drake and I like had the attitude of like, you all know who I am. Like,
but does he really need to be like, hi, I'm Aubrey to you?
I think so.
Or what if he's just like, Dave, my man, how are you, brother? I know you know who I am.
It's different if both of us have like, if we're both famous and we've like been DMing, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
if I'm just like a guy, like a PA on set, I just think it's disingenuous. Is that the word? To be like, what's up, man? Like, good to see you. Like, I'd rather like him be like, what's up? Like Drake. Like, I don't know why I'm talking from the perspective of Drake.
No, this is good. Embody that.
Aspirational.
Okay, so he's in the he's in the room. So Pitt's in the room.
First off, the way I meet Brad Pitt.
Yeah, how did this come together?
Well, no, I met him on set. I actually just cold emailed him.
What?
Yeah. really reckless. I wrote the entire.
Hold on.
Let me just finish one thing.
Go.
First, just know that when he actually came on set for the first time, and I actually got to meet him for the first time, which is the first place I ever met him, was when he came on set of Dave. We were shooting a scene where like she was like making a cast mold of my lower body, so I had to meet this man naked, covered in like slop. Like that's how I had to be like, hey, like nice to meet you. Anyways, I knew.
That's a power movie.
I basically, I heard
alpha
through the grapevine that, and you never know how true any of this shit is, but I just heard that like he was a fan of my show. Like a friend of mine took a meeting at his production company, and like one of his executives was like, oh, you know, Brad loves Dave, and my friend relayed that information to me like 3 years ago, and I stored that piece.
You hear that information, and is your first reaction like, of course, the guy's got taste, it's Brad Pitt? Or are you like, oh my God, Brad Pitt listens to me? Honest reaction.
My honest reaction is a combination of course, but also like, I don't know how true this information is.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. It's more just, I don't know how true this through the grapevine information is.
He should feel this way.
If he sees it, I imagine he would feel this way. That's how I feel about it.
Fire. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
But anyway, so we're writing, one thing I really pride myself on with the show is every season we end it in like such a way where like, I think we make like the best season finales possible.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, like we just constantly raise the bar. So like this season, I was like, how are we going to beat what we did for the, and I was like, well, I've had stored this piece of information about Brad Pitt. Like maybe we go after Brad Pitt to the point where like we started writing. We wrote the whole episode
before hitting him up.
Before even talking to him. All my writer's room was
That's crazy.
They were like, that's crazy. Like you don't even know Brad Pitt. And I was like, I know, but like I just feel like if we come with the right idea, he'll why wouldn't he do it? I don't know. Everyone was like, all right, same thing with Rachel McAdams, same thing with Drake. Like at least Drake I met and he was like,
yeah,
I love your show. And I had face-to-face confirmation that it was real. Yeah. With Rachel and Brad, I just heard through the grapevine and I wrote them like, and this is not like a random celebrity cameo where like you see them in a club and they're like, what's up, Dave? And like, it's really like the entire plot arc of the whole season was like resting on Rachel McAdams, Brad Pitt, and Drake.
Okay.
And I didn't know really any of them that well. I barely knew Drake, did not know Rachel or Brad. Yeah. Wrote the whole episode, got Brad's email.
From
an executive producer of the show named Marty Bowen who knows Brad's manager.
Okay.
Got his email, and I just got to work on drafting that email. What's my email? Like the words of it? Yeah. I couldn't even. I mean, it's long.
No. You're like, what is he seeing in his?
Is your name in your email?
Is it Lil Dicky?
No, my email. I don't want to give it out. So I'll tell you afterwards.
Oh, can we bleep it?
I guess.
Yeah, just go.
No
fucking way, dude.
Yo, what's really funny is he went like this. Like,
I watch the NFL. I know that they
That's your play sheet.
Okay, so that's the email that Brad sees. And he fucking opens it.
He opens it. And I write this long ass, like well-written, like email about.
You gotta have it. Bust it up. Just give us some.
My phone's in the other room. Honestly, it's not that easy to access. Like I've tried. It's like my phone like does a thing where it only saves like 3 months worth of shit. Like I could probably get it, but it would take too long. And I really don't. I want to leave it between me and Brad. You know what I mean?
Right? It's Brad. It's Brad.
Yeah, you can't, dog. You can't violate Brad's trust.
I mean, I didn't say we got to hear the response.
It's not for you, bro. It's not.
Your opening line is everything in the email, right? Do you remember the opening line?
To whom it may, or like, Dear Brad?
It's definitely Dear Brad, because I know that his response was Dearest Dave.
I love that.
And basically, I wrote this long thing that I like edited all week, like sent to my writers, like was like, what do you think of this draft? They were like, well, maybe like we take this sentence out. But like we literally like worked on this email.
Instead of writing the
You have to, dude. You have to. It's the most important email you've ever written.
We're like shooting episode 8. Like we're like deep in like this episode shoots in like 10 in like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like we're like running out of time, and I'm like pushing it off because I'm just like scared to face the reality of like the high risk like procedure I've taken. And then like a few days later he responded, not in the same thread, started a new thread.
Wow.
And
that's big.
I like didn't. It was it's hard to explain, but like I actually didn't understand that it was his email in response back for like 12 hours. I read this email. I kind of thought it was like junk or something. Like it didn't, because he didn't. It was really vague.
I assume his
You know,
email is not his name. It's not brad@bradpitt.com. So yeah, I can see how you're just like.
It was hard to
what's going on?
explain, but his email was like really short and sweet and like not bizarre in a bad way. Like it was like iconic. It was like it was weird, but like he didn't like sign it Brad Pitt. He signed it BP, and I just wasn't thinking.
So when does it hit you?
It hit me like
You know who it
I
is.
saw an email in the
You know
morning,
who
but
it
I'm like in the middle of production. I'm doing all the things, like I'm so spread thin, and then like I reread it at like lunch, and I was like BP, and then I was like, wait a minute, because I remember the subject line.
It's so hard.
The subject line.
Wait a minute.
I don't even want to show the subject.
Yes, say that shit, my boy. Go.
It was HMMMM.
Okay.
Very cryptic.
Yeah, it was
that threw
also
me off.
cryptic, but it's cool. It was
So
really
cool.
sick. Like
But
when I reread it, knowing it's Brad, I'm like, that's so cool. Like it's the coolest email I've ever. I'm gonna frame it. I'm gonna frame the email and put it on. Anyways, and then even then, I still didn't believe it was real. So I'm like, I'm hitting my agents, like, is this his email? They're like, we're confirming it is his email. Like they're like, I think he's down. And then like on set, it was like such a joy to be like, guys, like Brad Pitt is in the finale.
That's unbelievable.
But even then, I still didn't believe it would really happen.
Yeah. Because dates got to line up and shit.
Dates got to line up. It's like at any point.
Did you have to move everything around to fit his window, or?
We shifted a few things,
Okay.
yeah. But man, by the way, this guy couldn't be more professional. Like I designed the shoot in a way to where like if he like it was long, demanding days. Like we shot, it was like an hour-long episode that we only had Brad for like. He gave us 4 full days, and like
Crazy.
we're talking like
Crazy.
We're talking like overnight. Like we're starting shooting at like 9 p.m. and going to like 6 a.m.
What would that be fee-wise, Dove? 4 days with Brad Pitt.
He can name whatever price he wants. He's doing it because he wants to.
Oh no, of course he's doing the show because it's
We're
passion,
talking
but, like,
millions.
Like an
That's
A-star,
millions,
A-level
right?
star.
This doesn't happen.
Yeah.
An episode of TV is
Yeah.
like
It's not even about
Friends or something
Some
like that.
friends, yeah, it was just 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That was a
so-
great episode.
I gotta say, the most validating moment of my life. Like,
Has to be.
Prior to that, it was when LeBron James reached out to me and DM'd me about being a fan of the show. But like working with Brad, and it's a shame that I live my life like just trying to impress LeBron James and Brad Pitt, and that's how I find the peace and satisfaction.
It's not that most of us do.
Yeah.
Most of us do. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but like him coming, and then when he finally showed up on set, and I was like, "This is real." And like I said, like shooting scenes, like you shoot his coverage, my coverage. We always started with his coverage,
Yeah.
and I got the body double with the exact body type. Of
stayed
thing.
in?
And I'm like, Brad, like if you want to go home and rest up, like we can use this other man's shoulder very easily. He was like, "Never in a million years would I do that." He was like, "That's not how it should be."
So real quick, just for everybody at home, explain like when you're shooting a
when
show.
you're shooting a show, yeah. So let's say I'm here and Brad is like
Oh,
here.
me and you. Yeah.
So you
If the
don't-
camera's on, Dave.
Yeah, sometimes you can do things called cross coverage, which is there's a camera here and a camera here at the same time. That's really good for like improv and stuff, but it's not as good aesthetically. You can't like light things as particularly to do it that way. So you're better off aesthetically shooting one side at a time. So I would always start shooting Brad's side. Of
course.
So that way
He could leave
he
after
could leave
his
because we
coverage,
got
yeah.
a body double because when we're shooting over Brad onto me, all we need is his like flannel shirt and shoulder, and we had a man for that.
Yeah.
But he was like, "No, sir." Like he was like,
respect.
That is fire.
he wanted
That's
me to
fire.
feel
I would never
Brad's
have that kind of
energy when
integrity.
I'm giving my performance. And
Yeah.
honestly, it is true. Like that is the right thing to do. And
Because
but
those
it's an
nerves are going to be
extra-
coursing through your veins. You're
The whole-
talking to fucking Brad Pitt.
and that's the vibe of like the reality of the scenes we're shooting is that like I am enamored with Brad Pitt, so it will be easier for me to feel
Fire.
enamored.
But it's an extra, like, it's not 30 minutes. It's like 8 hours or whatever extra that he's standing there doing that, I assume, right?
yeah, it's like four hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like in the dead of the middle of the night.
He could easily
And
have
he's
this.
got to come back the next day, and like
Yeah.
and he, man, talk about a trooper. Didn't complain once. Like was just a joy, like a true joy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's smart for the super A-list guys also to do cultural shows. Meaning like when I say a cultural show, I mean like it has the culture. People are talking about it because it makes them look cool too. Right? Like how likable is Brad Pitt that he's a fan of the same show that you are a fan of.
Right.
Right? And then he's part of it and you know he doesn't need the money. He's just
I don't
doing
think
it
he
to be a cool
got
guy.
That much money. Like I think that like TV's pay.
You've got to like legally give him something.
Yeah, there's
probably.
like it's not even like it's pretty surprising how low TV pay can be for even big time actors. He didn't do it for the money. He did it because he loves the show, and I'm so proud of that episode and forever grateful to Brad for changing my life.
Now, if you don't get Brad, did you have a backup guy you could reach out to?
I definitely had but it wouldn't have been the same. And
Who was it?
there was no real backup to Brad, to be honest with you. Like I had people in my mind, but like it just didn't feel.
Yeah, there's somebody. Just tell him it's Ben Affleck.
No, it wasn't. I love Ben. I tried to get Ben Affleck in the Met Gala episode, and he like the schedule. He was almost in.
Really?
Yeah, he was. I had a great thing for Ben Affleck in that. It's so validating to like pursue these icons.
Yeah.
With like a straight face. You know what I mean? And like and there's a chance they'll do it.
I mean, yeah, that's amazing.
It's a really great feeling.
That's amazing.
And I'm really thankful.
All right, question. I know you're heavily involved in the editing process.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously acting. Now, how involved are you in the writer's room?
I'm the head writer.
So just
couldn't be more involved in there every day. Like I'm the. However, we break, basically every episode starts with like an idea. Like this episode, we want to be trapped in a hurricane with a conservative Christian family.
And those are typically your ideas, or?
It varies.
Okay.
It varies. I feel like back in the day, season 1, it was mostly my ideas. And then as time goes on, I run out of ideas.
Yeah.
And we just make more and more different. But it varies. And once we have an idea, then we got to like really map it out about just like breaking the episode. And then we do that as a group. We do it really well. It's so fun. It's my favorite part of the
So it starts out as like one almost sketch concept.
Just a core idea.
And then extrapolate.
Yeah, to the point. And then we give the script off to a writer to write the first draft. And like they're writing
prose almost, like not jokes or anything. They're just like story arc?
No, the story arc is totally created in the room by all of us to the point where like whoever's getting that draft to write, there's really no room for deviation. They're not going to like be like, you know what, instead of this thing, I had them go here. Like they have a very rigid thing that they have to like, I'm going to go here, second scene. And in that scene, I'm going to have a conversation with Gata and it's got to go like this. They'll be able to make up, good jokes and different dialogue.
So yeah, they plug in jokes. The structure is very set.
Yeah.
You guys plug in some of the funny stuff and then whatever.
And then the script comes to me and then like, I like honestly redo a lot of it. And so I feel like the writing is probably where I guess I'm involved in every phase. I was going to say the most writing, but I have no other experience than making this show, like as far as being on a set and like besides making Lil Dicky music videos. This is the only way I know. I've been told that I'm more hands-on than anyone like ever is. But
Who teaches you the process of all of this?
Predominantly this man, Jeff Schaefer, who's
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
Who's, I mean, Jesus, you could list his credits, but
Curb Your Enthusiasm, The League, like this guy is the Bill Belichick to my Tom Brady. Like, no network was gonna like be like, here, Lil Dicky, like we love your Save That Money music video. Here's the $30 to $50 million.
They need some security.
Yeah, so they brought in a guy to essentially babysit.
So they brought him in. That's fire.
Well, no, I met with him. They didn't bring him in. I knew that I wasn't going to sell the show without having a guy like Jeff. And then I met
You're
tons.
Obama, he's Biden.
I like Belichick Brady. And then I love working with this
Belichick
man.
didn't win without Brady, though. You know what I mean? Biden did. So
That's true.
You got to think about that.
Well, I'm Brady. Brady won without Belichick.
But he's Belichick.
He's got hits, though, is my point.
I feel like I'm going to
Schaefer's got hits, too, is what he said.
Schaefer does have hits.
Yeah.
He's great.
Do you not think?
I'm trying to.
No, he does.
I'm trying to make sure you
I think you're calling Schaefer Positano. I think that's what you're doing right now.
Schaefer's Bill Belichick, the best coach of all time.
But wasn't the best until he had Brady.
He was
And
pretty
kind of
good
sucks
coach
without
Brady.
him. So
no,
far.
he doesn't suck without him. Then fine. Maybe it's a bad comparison.
Thank you. That's all I'm
But we
saying.
get it? You're Brady.
Yeah.
Which I think is
I'm
the most
Brady.
important part of
Phil
that.
Jackson was Phil
Jackson and
Phil
Jordan.
Jackson.
Yeah,
Phil
yeah,
Jackson.
Kobe's
Kobe
Phil
and
Jackson.
I'm Kobe because he had Jordan. I mean, he
Yep,
won over.
yep.
There you go. There it
Kobe's
is.
Phil, or do you want to be? Seems like you want to be Jordan.
No, I like Kobe.
Kobe's good.
Kobe is my idol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I would never have been able to make the show without Jeff Schaefer. Like, just simply having a guy I trust, like having no idea how. I'm like very much like I question the way things are done all the time.
Yep.
So it's really a relief for like someone to be like, no, like it's not that way. Trust me, and me be like, okay, you make my favorite show ever.
I can
trust you. As opposed to someone who didn't have that cachet, I'd be like, well, why would I trust you?
Yeah,
Like, you're just
yeah.
a man
Right.
right in front of me.
So Jeff puts you on game is basically like, hey, this is kind of how we'll construct the episodes, and
Yes.
you're like, oh, that sounds good.
That sounds good. And then, as time goes on, I really like, I think there is a huge tonal, I call it I always say, like, every season I say, guys, I hope you're ready for a massive tonal shift. That's what I always say, because I just think tonally, if you look at all 3 seasons, they are very different. And I think, but while being similar at the same time and feeling like the same show, but I feel like even my taste has evolved so much to where, you know, I look at a lot of season 1, there's a lot that I like about it. There's a lot that I'm just like, that's like amateur hour compared to like what we're doing season 3, you know what I mean? And it's really a product of like, when I entered this whole thing, I really saw myself with nothing to base it on as like the next great comedian, you know, with like truly just being everyone's funny friend. And I always thought this show will be my launching pad for being a comedian. When I say comedian, I've never done stand-up. I don't mean stand-up. I mean like the way Seth Rogen and Larry David exist on screen and their brand of comedy. And then as things have evolved, like I totally see myself as a filmmaker now, to where like I want to be making, you know what I mean? Like I look at guys like Jordan Peele and Greta Gerwig and Ben Stiller. You know, Ben Stiller like carried like the best comedy things of like our childhood, and then decided, you know what, I'm just going to be the best director in the world and make like Escape from Dannemora and Severance. And I really love that vibe.
Oh, so you want to move away from comedy?
I don't want to move away from comedy because I don't think I should abandon that, but I definitely want to make non-comedy things. Like I definitely feel like my future is not just making comedy. Like I want to make movies that aren't even...
Any specific genre you're interested in? Like I think horror fits so well with Jordan because comedy and horror are incredibly similar.
Yeah. Well, no matter what genre, I pride myself in realism. You know what I mean? So if I had to pick a genre, I'd pick drama, I guess. You know, I really love great dramas and great... Like, I love movies like The Wrestler. You know what I mean? And like, movies that just... Like I love like A24, you know what I mean? And
I always took you for like a Marvel guy. I assumed you would just love Marvel.
Yeah, like Iron Man 3. You're like an Iron Man 3 guy.
Yeah. No, I am.
That's what you like the most, though, right? Like, it's Marvel movies.
Like, what? Can you list your top 10 favorite Marvel movies? Or top 20 if you want.
No, I can't. I do no such thing. But I just love, and I've fallen in love with the act of filmmaking, and like I realized, like, you know, being a filmmaker is just being like a leader of the set. And like I saw this thing on Instagram the other day where Quentin Tarantino was like, being a director, like you don't have to know how to do all the things. You just have to know what you want and what your vision is and hire the right people that can achieve your vision and be really good at eloquently explaining what you're going for. And then the right people will be able to hear your words and then apply it. And that's really is filmmaking.
Conducting, right?
Yeah.
Like, can a conductor play all those instruments? There's no way.
No way.
But he knows how to get all those people to play those instruments perfectly.
Yeah.
Guys, real quick, we got to interrupt this episode for our prize picks. Sing locks. Are you fucking ready? I'm going to give you different ones next week. This week, I got Deebo Samuel getting more than 57.5 receiving yards. Christian McCaffrey getting less than 36.5 receiving yards. Might have a big day rushing. I don't think receiving. And Patrick Mahomes, you're giving you a free square, more or less than a half a yard passing. Just take more. And remember, if you sign up, use that promo code Schultz. They will match your initial deposit up to $100. That means you put in $100, you get $100 for free. Go to prizepicks.com, hurry up and sign up. You got a free square. Now let's get back to this episode with Lil Dicky.
I find it amazing how you just like, your first go at it, you knocked it out the park.
Thank you.
What was something that, like the hardest lesson you had to learn along the process?
Well, I'll tell you what jumps into my mind. One is how time-consuming it is. Like, you know, I can't even believe what happens to my life when I make this show. Like, starting with, like, the writer's room, and I'm not complaining because it is, like, what a privilege and a gift to make a show about my life that I'm in control of. But, like, just the amount of sheer time it takes to put it all together. Every season is, like, an 18-month journey of, like, where I'm all in every day.
Talk about post.
Post is the hardest part. Post is the hardest part. With deadlines.
Explain post to people.
Oh, my God.
Real quick. So post is just when the show is finished being shot, you have to
3
edit.
phases.
So
you write it for 3 months. That's the most fun phase. That's coming in with like a group
jokes,
like this.
ideas,
We're hanging out. We're
yeah.
smart and funny, and we're learning about life. Then you shoot it. Harder than writing it because it's like you're getting picked up at like 4 in the morning every day, and like you're working every day, and you got to facilitate all these celebrities.
You're not just acting; you're managing all these people as well.
Totally, I'm like, you know, I'm a huge part of the directing of everything. I'm like, there's tons of decisions that need to be made, and I have no problem being the person I would like to be the person making the decision.
But you also got to get into character. There's a lot of things.
That's the one thing that I'm like lucky. Like with this, the thing I think about the least is the acting. Like I put so much time and energy into the writing, the set, the tone, like how we want it to be shot, look and feel. That takes up every ounce of my energy, and then I'll enter a scene being like, I actually haven't even given this any thought as an actor, but fortunately,
you're just being
I'm
you
being
in that
myself,
moment.
and it's written for like I know how I would react in the situation, so I can just like live off my instincts.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot harder if like Scorsese wanted me to play like a Civil War soldier. Like I don't know what I would do in that. You know what I mean? And then so you finish shooting.
Side, though? Just tell us which side. North or the south?
North.
Good.
But only because he's from Philly.
Yeah, it's close though. That Mason-Dixon is right there. Okay, look at post. So
post. Then you finish shooting the show and you're drained. Like that shoot takes up every ounce of your energy, and then guess what?
You're not even close.
That thing starts to air in like 8 weeks, and you gotta. And once you're like, they're not moving back the air date. So once that first episode airs, every week you're like locked into the schedule. And what has happened with my show is. And it's not because I'm this like endless perfectionist who like needs to. It just takes X amount of time.
Yeah.
No, here's what it is. Okay, here's what it is. You tell me what you would do in my position. Like, okay, we have a scene. I would like to see every take.
Yes.
Just so I know that I'm picking the best take.
Exactly that.
And so, yes, I could do it in a way where there's a solid take in the edit and I could move forward without, but every time I look into it, I then find a better take, and then incrementally the show just gets better.
Yep.
That's the reason the show is so good, is because I do this no stone unturned method, which really isn't endless pontificating. It's just going through all the data and obviously having a right choice and just picking it, and then I inch along, and then I'll finish like 4 episodes, and then the first one airs, and then my time gets smaller, and I'm handing in every episode like 5 days before this thing airs. And by the way, not only do you have to lock the edit, then you got to score the whole thing, which I'm so. We have such great score, and it's a huge part of the show. I'm so involved in that. We got to color correct it.
The music cannot suck.
No,
you're a musician.
Yeah.
The expectation is going to be high.
Yeah, and
it elevates it, dude. I remember Entourage would just like the score really elevated the show. They would have songs that were like out a week before the episode, and you were like, holy fuck.
By the way, and that's not even what I mean. That's the easy stuff. That's like, let me put this cool song in here. I'm talking about
writing a song for
original. Like I need like a great emotional violin piece for the scene where the character's crying, and it's got to like make it all work well.
Right.
So there's a lot of different needs, and then. It's really, so I forget the original question that was asked.
Post, and why post is so stressful.
Yeah,
is that you're
post,
on
it's
this
the deadlines and the timelines, and like 10 straight weeks you have to deliver this thing, and you're running out of time to the last, and then by the end of it, like the thing, and then I just realized all 10 episodes just aired, and I didn't even get to like watch them on TV or enjoy the feeling of people reacting to them, because I've been like working the hardest I possibly could work to even make it to the season finale. And then I arrive here.
Yeah.
It is wonderful.
So the Mark had a good metaphor for at least what it comes to like building a joke, and I think the same thing as you building anything, which is like you're basically creating a sword. And have you ever seen anybody create a sword where you're just kind of constantly banging on it? You never seen it in like Game of Thrones or anything like that?
I've seen, I guess, people like banging, like
kind of exactly what I just said when you said no.
Okay. Also, let me I think it's Louis that said that.
Oh, did he say this?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Mark stole it from Louis.
I stole it from Louis.
Yeah. So, but the idea that you're just constantly like whittling away, and I think that is what you're describing when you're like, I want to see every take.
Yeah.
Put that one in, because I don't think people realize this. A lot of times you'll hand in a movie, or a director will hand in a movie, and they'll hand it to an editor that wasn't there while the movie was being shot at all.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's just getting all these footage, and you know what? He might have 3 other things he's got to edit.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to do my best job. I want people to come back to me, but I'm not going to painstakingly look through every single different cut to get the exact word, etc. And if you do that, it makes the best product, but it is fucking time consuming.
It's so time consuming, and it's really hard. But it's literally my name is like
That's the
on
other
the
thing.
line. It's called Dave. Like this is my life's work, the story of my life. Like I wouldn't feel satisfied or comfortable knowing I've left anything on the floor. I'm happy to work this hard, especially if I can get the result that I want.
Yeah. Did Jeff get that? He probably understood that, right?
Yeah, Jeff, he's really militant in the edit too, and he likes to see all the takes, and he does get that.
You say you're not a tortured artist, but there is a perfectionist.
When did I say that?
You said you're not like a perfectionist, endless perfectionist, but you are in that like, I'm listening to the new album now, and then the first or second track, I think you're like, I hate all my old stuff, it's all trash, this is what it is. And that's such a, I really admire that, where it's like this kind of endless pursuit of always getting better, and everything before is not as good as this, and this is what it is.
Yeah. I do think I am a tortured artist to an extent. I was just in the instance of why the edit takes so long. It's not like there are certain things that, like making music is way more, anything could happen at any moment. I could say any line, I could do it totally differently. When you have, like, I am so convinced that if I received footage for each, like season 3, let's say, I get all the footage and I edited the show, and then you put a Men in Black, like memory eraser thing on me, right? And I forgot everything. And then I received all the footage, it would be the exact same output. Because I really think that there is, like, there's always a clear-cut choice for every moment. And like one time, you know, my hand might be up here for and then the line before it, my hand was down here, and then I'll pick, well, what line is more important? And then I'll like back out of whatever is more important and make sure my hand is in the, you know what I mean?
You're going through the same decision matrix for every single decision you're
making.
Yeah.
And I have an opinion. One thing I'm really, like, people, you know, it can be like, it's a lot of work, and like people that work with me, whether it's the mixer, like the editor, they're like, you're really turning over every stone here. But I think that they respect it because I'm not waffling, and I'm not like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, when presented something, an A or a B, I definitely am gonna, unless they're really even, I'm gonna have an opinion.
And even then it gets tough.
If they were even, then I would just focus group it.
Then you bring in.
That's when I send it to my most trusted writers, and I say A or B, and that happens, and then I'll leave it up to the votes.
Yeah.
But having an opinion that often is like a superpower in and of itself.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's one of my strengths, is just naturally having an opinion.
Sounds a lot like you, because I remember if you're editing a stand-up clip, even though he's not the editor, he will be right there over your shoulder all night. Doesn't matter what time, and it's like, no. Yeah, let me cut this little incremental thing. And it's like, wow.
I've heard stories of like other shows.
The snap system is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
It's timing. It's like, for me, like, at least with stand-up, there is a musicality to it. So it's just boom, boom. And the way that I can communicate that best to the person who is the master at editing is just by either snapping or, like, talking to them about it. I'm not going to learn how to use Premiere.
No, why should you?
You spent your whole life perfecting Premiere. I spent my whole life trying to be a great stand-up.
Yeah.
Let's work together.
But you know how to be like, add 8 frames of tail.
Yes.
And like, you'd be shocked at how much, like 8 frames, which, there are 24 frames in a second. You add 8 frames of tail to a joke, it changes the entire feel.
And because so his system is saying, okay, stop right now. They'll catch it that much later. So I stole this from you. It's when I snap, that's when you stop. I don't have time to get through this sentence. It's too late when I get through the sentence.
Yes.
And then with, like, especially when you're editing comedy, I think, not even stand-up where there's an audience reaction, comedy where there's not an audience reaction, I think a problem that some editors don't pick up on is they will hold too long on the person who's delivering a joke as if there's like an expectation of a laugh.
You need the reaction to make,
But there is no reaction.
Yeah. But you can cut to, if I'm saying something funny that's outlandish.
And then cut to that person
face receiving the information, and makes it funny.
But some people go, and ta-da, and they're just waiting here, and it's like, now I feel uncomfortable as the audience. Cut to the person that you're saying it to, and now I feel represented. So these little, like, tricks with, because I'm always considering the audience. I'm like, how is the audience taking in this information?
Yeah.
If you create discomfort for them and you don't release that tension, they're just sitting with their shoulders up.
Yeah.
I like you to bring your shoulders up. I want you to feel that tension. We got to release it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's instinct. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's just, And
do you think you have good taste?
Yes.
Like, taste and opinion for you is like kind of the same thing.
Yeah, because I'm making my opinions based off my natural taste. But I think taste is like everything. Like, again, I have no experience in filmmaking.
Yeah.
But I definitely watch movies and TV and know what I like and know what I don't like. And the more and more experience I get, the more I'm able to actually be able to, like, execute these things that I see. But at the end of the day, like, your taste is going to define everything you do. And I think I have good taste.
Favorite movie?
Ever?
Ooh.
Yeah. Actually, let me caveat that.
Okay.
Favorite movie, or the most underrated movie?
It's a totally different question.
Yes.
Most underrated movie?
Like, what's that hit movie that you actually like and you're like, no, this deserves more credit?
I mean, this isn't necessarily my answer because it's the type of thing I would want to put more thought into.
Sure.
What's the movie with Steve Carell And
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Exactly.
I knew.
That's a
I
nice.
know you did.
That's a real underrated.
Is that with
Fucking fantastic
yeah,
Emma
with
Stone.
Gosling and
Gosling and Emma,
Gosling,
like,
yeah,
that to me
that's
is,
a
like,
great movie.
Great comment. You know,
Yeah.
there's another one that I thought was really underrated. It was, I think the Seth Rogen one with Katherine Heigl, not knocked out, or no, who the one where she's like the president or something. Wow, see, it's underrated.
I boycotted that movie.
Long shot?
Long shot. Yes, I think that's. But
You
look,
better believe it.
those are when you ask my favorite movie.
Yeah.
I which I think is an easier question for me to answer.
Okay.
It's underrated. I think of Superbad.
Okay.
I think of The Big Lebowski.
Oh,
Big Lebowski's fantastic.
Lebowski.
I think of Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank is incredible.
Yeah.
There's a perfect example of like an incredibly popular and cherished film that lives up and exceeds expectations.
For sure. But you know what else I think of? And I think of like when you say like you want to move away from comedy, and I'm like, well, not necessarily. Like to me, there'd be nothing more that I want to do than make like the next Social Network.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like that is a movie that I think is like of
It's a
the
great movie.
utmost taste. It's contemporary. It's cool. It's real.
Do you want it to be biographical?
No, not necessarily. Like, you know, I wish I had made The Social Network about the story of, I mean, I love the way that they did it. They did it perfect. It's a perfect movie. But like that, like making The Social Network is like in theory more appealing to me than making Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Even though I love Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and you would imagine that maybe my natural skill set is probably more inclined to dominate Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I think I would do a great job making a great comedy, and I do want to make great comedies because I think there's like a real void in the comedies. Like when I was younger and being influenced,
The
Judd
R-rated comedy
Apatow was
dominated,
just smashing us. Like every year was something that you had to go see in
Friday,
theaters.
man. Friday to me
was
is
great
it's
too.
a movie that, as much hype as it gets, is still underrated.
And there's something weird going on with comedy right now where like no one's.
What do you think it is?
I don't know.
You know what
I
I've
actually
heard
don't
that
know.
makes
They don't
sense.
perform well at the box office.
But yeah, I've heard international money's such an influence now in movies. Comedy isn't as international. Like a lot of jokes are kind of, if you're in America, in the culture, you get it. And if not, you're like, I don't, they didn't
But
land.
Marvel works in China.
And Marvel, you don't need to,
That's what they say.
You just got to bend your knee to China. and then-
But even the comedies that get made, I'm like,
I think there's like, this is probably perfect storm, multifaceted question, because I'm sure there's part of the situation where there are people that are maybe scared to make edgier jokes at a time where, remember, films are 2 years out, right? So everything in film is 2 years ago.
yeah, you're right.
So maybe it was a more sensitive time 2 years ago. Now things are kind of opening up. You can say whatever you want. And maybe in 2 years we'll have those films come back, those R-rated comedies come back. But I think there's a little bit of sensitivity from executives. They're like, I got my kids in private school. I'm trying to build a pool in this house and build an extension. Do I really want to like roll the dice on my career with this like edgy movie that's got jokes about retards and trans people? I don't really think I want to do that. Let's just be safe with this Christmas movie. So I think there was a little bit of that.
Maybe.
But I also do think that they were concerned about this like international box office thing. But the weirdest thing is that like everybody I meet that tells me they learned English, they learned it from cartoons.
Right.
Which are all, it's The Simpsons, Family Guy. So you are learning English through comedy.
Yeah.
So I don't subscribe to this idea that it doesn't travel. But you know it does travel way easier? Iron Man.
Yeah, but I wonder like what 40-Year-Old Virgin did. Like I'm sure it was very successful in America and maybe it didn't travel that well, but I bet it made a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, and
Just imagine Europeans like, I don't get it.
yeah.
Like, how do you not have sex?
Virgin?
Well, I mean, like, think about when he's getting waxed and he's screaming out, Kelly Clarkson! It's like,
Oh,
we
you're
get
saying
that
the
here,
references they're
but
gonna miss
the
a
reference
little bit.
is not going to hit in the Middle East necessarily. They're going to be like, oh, the girl who won season 1 of American Idol, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We made 180 million worldwide.
International.
$27 million budget.
I mean, that's
Super.
not
No,
bad.
That's nice.
It's definitely
That's a
That's
nice
not
little-
bad at all.
Yeah.
We're talking
But these guys are out to make
15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He was
Yeah.
making our comedies with.
I think they will come back. I also think there's less kind of, for whatever reason, people out there who are interested in making. It's just like kind of a weird time, I think, where like there's just less comedians making movies or something.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Did you finish writing your movie?
Me?
Yeah.
No, but I'm working on it right now.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you
Now,
have
is
a
it-
topic?
Yeah, but
That
I don't
you
wanna-
can share?
I don't
You
want to
wanna-
share it.
Pure comedy or comedy drama, or can you give us genre at all?
And this is something I actively consider as I write my first movie that I want to like be like my, written by, directed by, starring me, like my first real like boom. This is like the future of my career. First off, definitely a comedy. coming of age. I would say that's a thing I'd apply to it. But no, it won't. I don't want it to just be like a goofy comedy. I want it to have tons of heart, be really real, and I want it to ideally be the type of movie that you'd consider in the best picture category just as much as you'd consider, that's what I'm going for. But it's hard to straddle that line. Like, it's like you want to make this like big epic commercial comedy, and it's hard to do that while also like being this critical darling that ultimately that is where my taste lies. Like, and I'm not trying to just like appease critics. I just genuinely like great art, And I think a lot of the great comedy movies like maybe take like the artfulness of the way it's shot will take a back seat, or I don't want that to take the back seat. I've kind of evolved to a place where I can't even enjoy a scene that I don't like the way the set design looks, which I never thought I'd be that way, but it's true.
Yeah. Maybe that's the reason why these movies aren't being made.
What?
Like, just in the sense that they want the comedy movie, but they also want the art to be in it as well. So it's like you're not.
Maybe you're right. I do think the audiences are getting more savvy too. But Superbad,
they want it
holds
more
up.
elevated. You're saying, where it could be back in the day more slapstick, silly, fun.
I mean,
but
I
not
remember,
as thoughtful.
And maybe not even the audience. Maybe the artist wants that as opposed to the audience.
I remember season 1 of my show when I'm like taking a lot of time to light certain scenes. There were certain people being like, is a comedy. Like,
why are we working
who cares
as hard?
What it looks like?
Yeah.
And I'm like, who cares what it looks like? Like, what are we're filmmaking.
Yeah.
Like, how could you not care what it looks like? That's like almost the most important thing. So, I don't know, but I think there are some people that can do it all, and hopefully I'm one of those people.
What does retirement look like for you?
Ooh, good question.
Do you have to accomplish a certain amount of things in order to do that? Do you even envision what you're...
I kind of am like aware that I'll never be satisfied, that like the goalposts always keep moving. Literally, I just did the thing with Brad, but I feel like, just as unaccomplished, and like, so I just think it's a never-ending thing. Like, no amount of awards are ever going to change it, and I know that. And so I don't want, even though I do care about like achievements and like I care about doing well and people receiving it well, but I just know it's a never-ending cycle. So I think retirement looks like the ability to be at peace with like the things that really are, like to not have my happiness totally wrapped up in the validation that comes along with my art. Like to be like very happy, like not making something and not receiving all the flowers along the way, and just living in the moment and like loving how the light is going through the windowsill and the dust is like moving in the light.
Are you happy right now?
Yeah, I am happy, but oftentimes I ask myself, like, am I happy, or does everything go perfectly for me? And I haven't really faced a lot of adversity in life, and if I face adversity, I'd become depressed. But I am, every day I wake up really happy, and I'm truly living my dream, and I'm like...
But you're questioning this happiness.
Because I just have a lot of anxiety in general, but I think no matter what, I think I'm the type of person that will, no matter what's going on in my life, I will always have X amount of anxiety to apply to anything. And if I wasn't making the show, I'd have anxiety about not seeing my parents enough before they die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would just be, and I just think that's how I'm wired. And fortunately, my anxiety, like, it only kind of fuels my ambition and doesn't like bring me down to a place of like where I can't get out of bed. You know what I mean? Like, it's like functional anxiety that like propels me.
Yeah, semi-related. It's not anxiety, but I think one of your superpowers is you can just vocalize the things you're neurotic about where most of us don't.
Yeah.
And you're so comfortable doing that, and it creates so much room for comedy and content in general. Just being like, oh, here's what I'm neurotic about. I'm just gonna let everyone in the world know.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm insecure about. Everyone in the world is gonna know. Most of us are wired to be like, I hope people don't find out about this thing that I'm insecure about. You're like, let's just tell everyone.
Yeah.
So you're an anxious kid that wants validation from strangers. We could say strangers. Yes. So you decide to become a rapper.
Yeah. Right? I think at my core, I was like I live my life.
I feel like that would induce so much more anxiety for most of us. Right?
One would think, and it was like initially when I'm like, oh my God, I have to do a concert?
Yeah.
Like what? I've never even rapped in front of everybody. I don't even like doing karaoke because it's too much. Like I'm now supposed to go in front of 2,000 people in Philadelphia, do my first live show. Very stressful. I'll tell you, like, look, I start off being a kid who like loves making people laugh, and like I think at the core of it is like a guy who, I'm very confident, and like know my skills, but I think there
interesting.
must be like an insecurity in me that just wants to be liked and loved.
Sure.
And I recognized early on that like anyone that met me was like, you're the funniest guy I've ever met. And like that meant the world to me. And like I just lived my life like thinking, how do I show everyone that I am the next funny guy? Like I don't think the Adam Sandlers of the world started as anything more than everyone's funny friend. Like I'm meant to be that guy.
So question, does rapping start because you did it and people were like, oh, it's funny that this Jewish kid is rapping, and then do you chase it and go, I'm gonna get nice at this?
Here's what happened. I graduate college and I'm like,
Oh, so you didn't even rap before?
I graduate college and I'm like, how do I get noticed for being like the next comedic guy? And I saw Lonely Island, Andy Samberg, and them just like dominating the comedic rap space with like everything they did was like millions and millions, hundreds of millions of views. And like I'm like, there's not one single competitor to them in this entire space. They have a monopoly over comedic rap. And I was like, I can do this. What I can't do is write a sketch and like film it in like my San Francisco apartment with no money that like looks as good as the 40-year-old virgin looks. And like, that's what our brain would compare, like whatever comedy thing I'm delivering on YouTube. They would be like, well, this doesn't feel legit. But like a rap video, like it's very DIY to begin with. And I was like, one of the main things that I did was I did this. I used to work at an ad agency. And one of the tasks I had, I was the low man on the totem pole. I was like, I really I gave like notes on the meetings and like emailed it out. And one thing I had to do was this really boring report on how I worked for the Doritos account, on how our ads were affecting chip sales. And it was the one time where I would send an email to all the partners of my agency. And I was like, this is my chance to get noticed for being special. And I delivered I delivered the report one time that was like a boring Word document that was like a template handed down from every assistant account manager before me. I was like, let's just like deliver this data like via song and send them an MP3. And they were like, who's this guy?
They're gonna
we
love
love
that.
this guy. Like, matter of fact,
What a
like,
break from the monotony.
go take this little song you made and go make a little music video out of it. And then I learned, oh my God, my ad agency has a whole production wing, and like, wait a minute, I grew up watching Mace and Puffy videos and thinking rap videos are this like unattainable, multi-million-dollar thing that eventually my career would kind of evolve into. But wait, we can just take one afternoon, we can use these Canon 7D and we can make slow-mo, and it looks like a real rap video, and then everyone at my ad agency is freaking out over how much they love this funny song about chip sales. Imagine if I took my comedic thoughts and made funny raps about them. And then I started making rap music with the intention of like, maybe like the South Park guys will see one of these videos and hire me to be in their writer's room, or maybe Seth Rogen will see it. And then as I started rapping, I just got better and better at it. It really works like a sport. I have always loved rap. I've always loved hip hop. Growing up, I like wanted to be a comedian and I wanted to like play in the NBA and be a rapper. Only one of those things felt like remotely feasible. And when I realized, wait a minute, I can really do this, and I put out a song called Russell Westbrook on a Farm that was like really introspective and not funny at all. And all my fans were like, this is the shit we want the most. I was like, I can be the next great rapper. And then I put comedy career on the back burner for like 4 or 5 years and like became a legitimate touring artist and like put out an album that like went platinum and have like a lot of big songs. And it really carried. And look, this is a very arrogant way to phrase it.
Okay.
But it really is how I feel. And I don't feel like it's me trying to be arrogant in any way other than like observing the facts at hand. Like my whole life, like growing up wanting to be a comedian, I always felt like I was Batman.
Okay.
And I was like, no one knows I'm Batman. And I really feel like I like by accident realized that like not only am I Batman, but I also feel like I'm Superman. Like at the same, that's really hard because I'm like, wait a minute, I can make I can make a legit like a Freaky Friday that goes #1 in all these nations. And like that's a legit like song. Like I was just like, oh my God. And then the music career took off, and I put comedy on the side, and then I started making my show, and my show took off, and I put music on the side, and that's why I don't feel like I've fulfilled my potential I still feel like I have scratching the surface as a rapper. Like, I know what's on my hard drive, I know what's unreleased, and how great I am as a rapper that no one's ever heard.
Right.
And I just want the day to come where I put my best foot forward in music.
Yeah, we need some bars, Dicky.
Yeah.
Dicky, we need some bars,
Yeah.
bro.
Like right now, I can't.
Yo, come on, give us some bars, Dicky. Come on. Come on, we need
It's
some
like
bars,
my biggest, like,
bro.
I could never just like.
Come on, bro.
Yo,
Can you think
like,
it?
Yeah,
I can never-
come on, Dicky.
Can we take a break? I pee and then we come back.
I
Can
gotta
you
pee
think of
too.
something?
Yeah,
in the
you guys
meantime?
go. You guys go.
Yo,
pee.
think of something in the meantime.
No.
We need bars. All right, guys, take a break for a second, okay? Because it's time to make that little Dicky a big Dicky. You already know how it's going down. Blue Chew, okay? Big boner madness. Blue Chew has got your back. Same active ingredient that's inside Viagra, Cialis, but this is the Chew, okay? It's one that we rock with, and this is the one that you're gonna keep your girl satisfied with. Satisfied? No. You're gonna keep your girl shaking. She's gonna be shaking. In her thighs, getting the workout, okay? Way better than any of those classes she's doing. This is the Chew, okay? You're gonna get your first month free. First month free. All you gotta do is pay $5 shipping. You go to BlueChew.com, use the promo code Flagrant. You get your first month free, you pay the $5 shipping, and you enjoy. Let's get back to the show. All right, guys, let's take a break for a second, because listen, some of y'all balls need to get shaved up, okay? Some of y'all balls look absolutely disgusting, and you want girls going down there sucking on them things when you can't even get that pubic region unpubed, or at least trim the hell down. Now, I know you're thinking, oh my God, it's gonna take so much time, and I have to da-da-da-da-da-da. Manscaped has got your back. They figured the whole thing out. You're gonna manscape down there. It's gonna look absolutely beautiful. It's gonna get sucked on a lot more. Simple as that. I don't know if I've said anything that's more prolific on this podcast than this simple formula. Manscaped down there, it gets sucked on a lot. You're welcome. Manscaped has got the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's the hero of Valentine's Day with their skin-safe technology to protect you from grooming mishaps down low. That's what your girl wants on Valentine's Day, is to suck your dick. Copy might be a little off, okay? But in our minds, it's right on point. Because you know what your girl's dreaming about for Valentine's Day? Sucking on your dick. So don't forget, okay? Your face and nose also need trimming. The Weed Whacker 2.0 nose hair trimmer, or their Beard Hedger Pro Kit to shape up your scruff. So before the big holiday, check out their new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with Flagrant's exclusive offer. You get 20% off and free shipping with the code Flagrant at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the code Flagrant, because your grooming upgrade awaits, ready to charm your Valentine's dates. Now let's get back to the show. And we're back, everybody.
I just wanted to say, well, during the break, I was able to glance at your preparation.
Yeah, hold on. Can you show
This
us?
only note.
Yeah.
It says Lil Dicky.
Yep.
It's his only note. And by the way, misspelled my name. I just think that
There's
you.
no E in it? Are you telling me there's no E in
I look
Lil
over his
Dicky?
notes. It just says Lil Dicky.
Hold on, I didn't even put the little thingy too.
Oh no.
Okay.
There's no apostrophe.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
On purpose?
they get that wrong all the time.
They really do.
I get
like
so
the same,
annoyed. I shouldn't, but like, when I'm like,
Yeah.
I go to a venue and it's like up on the thing and it says with apostrophe. I'm just like,
How dare
That
they?
happens to him all the time.
That one's kind of on you, though, to be honest.
Are you gonna pull
no.
up?
A lot of Lils don't have an apostrophe. I think most don't.
most
Lil
do.
Wayne.
Nowadays, it's kind of like a 90s, 80s thing.
Are you gonna pull a Bow Wow and drop that low?
No.
You're just gonna be
You
Dicky?
grown now, bro. You big dick.
Honestly, I couldn't. Like, I really do hate my rap name, but I also love it.
I was gonna ask you that.
It's a bizarre feeling of like.
Do you feel imprisoned by it? Does
No,
it feel
it's the
like-
perfect rap name. it's like it's my cross. It's like exactly what I want.
It's one of the questions.
And I like when people call me LD. That feels good.
LD.
That
Gator
feels
does
nice.
that, yeah.
Yeah, LD's cool.
That feels cool.
Yeah.
But
D. Maybe I'll switch
I don't know.
it.
I made a whole list. Here's the backup I had to Lil Dicky. That maybe I wonder would I be as successful with this rap name?
Let's see.
Young man.
Ooh.
2 ends on man, or?
No.
Young man is kind of nice. I like
But
that.
then I see the UK rapper Dave.
Yes.
I'm just like,
That's
fuck
it.
that. I
That's
fucked
it.
up. It should have been Dave.
You should have been Dave.
Yeah.
But Lil Dicky's interesting. Like
It definitely
Immediate
is
intrigue.
polarizing. Yeah, you're like, what is this?
radio
And
interviews.
then the way
they're
you
gonna
kind
ask.
of, the way you rolled out your career fit perfectly with everything.
I don't have any regrets. It's just
But it's a lie. The dick
there's
thing I
something
read.
weird to me when I'm on the street and someone's like, yo, Dicky. Like, I just don't relate. Like, I don't feel like I should be turning my head when someone says Dicky. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's something, if they said LD, I would turn my head confidently. Yeah.
Now, what happens if you go on and you make this, like, sophisticated, elevated art?
You talking about movies or
film?
Okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, music can be sophisticated, elevated as well, but of course, but film in the way that you described.
Yeah.
And people are still going, Lil Dicky, will that bother you? Will it chip away at you? No. I think it's irrational.
I definitely wouldn't, like, if I was directing a movie, I wouldn't ever have it be directed by Lil Dicky. Like, it would be directed by Dave Burd. And I think there's just, if I am this level of filmmaker and I still have a rap career on the side that, like, everyone, like, knows me, I think that's just cool. But I don't think my music career will ever delegitimize my filmmaking career. I think it's just two different sides.
So you won't rap for us?
No.
I've seen so many freestyles from you. Do you know which one that really got me? It was the one you were doing like a radio show in London or something like that. It was Westwood. Yeah. Now, curious, going into these things, do you have a song specifically set up for that interview, or not a song, a freestyle set up for the interview?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
And there's a misconception sometimes that I'm just making it all up off the
No.
top of my
I
head.
know that you've written it, but I wonder if it's like, I have 10, I'll just choose one and go for it.
I go in there with like knowing exactly what I want to do. And you got to execute it, of course. And, it's nerve-wracking to do those things.
Yeah, break that down. Like, what was more nervous, Westwood or Sway?
Sway.
Because you probably built up
New York.
Yeah.
Hip hop, like, you know, they hype up like the way Sway goes about his freestyles is like you're in like the hyena lounge now. Like, you know, like if you fail there, like they're gonna like probably enjoy it. You know what I mean? Or just like relish in the failure of it. So I just thought, like, you know, especially as a white rapper named Lil Dicky who like makes joke comedy music, like, you know, you got to go in there and kill it. And so I was so nervous. Oh my God, I can't even believe I did it. And then I did it again, and I can't. But it's probably like the footage I'm most proud of. That if I was like Jay-Z had never heard of me, and he was like, "What should I watch first?" I'd
check it.
Sway freestyles.
How long does it take to write it?
I don't know. Not
2 weeks preparation.
No.
Like, what's your prep for that?
You know, you got to find the right beat, and I probably write it in like 2 days.
Oh, I thought that Sway chooses the beat.
No. Sometimes he does. It depends. If you do like 5 fingers.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay, so you're going in there and you're just adjusting it to whatever the beat is. That's even trickier.
Yeah.
And then the Westwood. Couple days before, but you're like, I know I gotta drop a fucking.
I love Westwood. I like remember seeing the old Eminem freestyles on Westwood.
That was crazy.
And I was just like, I don't know. I think I get a lot of like the Sway and the Westwood. I was like on tour, and like when I'm on tour, like I really feel more like a rapper than I do when I'm just like sitting around. So I just think I have a different energy where I'm like, all right, let's drop in there and kill it, you know. And
it's just another performance.
Like I'm in that.
But the
zone.
Insecurity is about failing the execution. It's never about the rap itself.
Totally.
So you're very confident about the music.
Yes.
It's just, are you gonna flub it in that moment live?
Exactly.
That's interesting. Whereas most people would be worried about if their art was going to be appreciated by these people.
No,
there's never a question.
I always
great. It's so great.
If I properly execute, we should be good to go. That's how I feel. But like, look, here's a story that I think is interesting. Like 2 or 3 years ago, I was asked by the Emmys to be a part of the opening number of the Emmys, and it was like a Tuesday, and the Emmys are on that Sunday, and I'm a groomsman in my like best friend's wedding like on that Saturday, and I was like, oh my God, like, you know, what an opportunity. But also how, and then they were like, oh, it can be like, maybe I shouldn't be sharing this, but I don't know. I don't give a fuck. They're like, it's a pre-record. You can record your thing ahead of time. You know, you can record your verse. And then when we're doing it, it will just be a pre-record. So I thought, nothing really to lose here. Let's record. I have 3 days to record a verse before I go. I then record my verse, send it in. They're like, great, we love it. I fly to Denver to be in a groomsman, and the whole weekend I'm like listening to my verse, and like, you know, no matter what the wedding songs that are playing, I'm like doing my verse like to every single, you know, I'm just like getting, and then I go to the Emmys, like I'm literally like I'm in my white suit, like we're backstage, they're like you're on in 10. And Gaeta's right there with me as moral support, and I say to Gaeta, I'm like, I'm gonna kill this shit. And I like had such confidence. I go out there, immediately once I went out there, I forgot every word to the thing. Right? I forgot everything. It was like a bomb had dropped.
Rough, dude.
I take one step out there. I mean, This is the first moment of the Emmys. It's nationally televised live. But I knew it was a pre-record. So like my thing is playing, and I realized, oh my God, I just need to put this microphone right here.
No.
And then just like,
can we get this video up?
Wait, you get it up. But so in my mind, I'm like almost blacked out. Like I'm like I don't know what's going on right now. Like if my mic was live and we were picking up that feed, it was like like it would have been like a failure on like a national scale.
Yeah.
And then I finished it and I got off stage and I was like, oh my God, like, did I just embarrass? Because in my mind, I like didn't know, I forgot what I was supposed to do. And like, I don't know how and then I watched it and I was like, oh my God, I look so cool. Like it couldn't, and like to me, it comes off great.
So you knew the mic wasn't going to be hot.
Yeah. And let me tell you.
You saw Brad for the first time.
Let me tell you.
That's what it was, Brad.
I don't know that I'm ever doing live TV performance ever again. I don't know.
All right, let's see it. Hold on, let's watch it.
I'm like, like I have no idea. And then I think I remembered it like right now.
And then it started to come in.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's genius. Because you cannot
Walking
tell
through the
at
crowd
all.
too that you're even more hidden. It's smart.
Dude, all I know is that experience has rocked me. Like I used to like imagine myself like, I want to one day get to the place where I'm doing the Super Bowl. I'm like, no. Like, I just don't know if it's worth it. Like the possibility of failure on such a giant, like succeeding doesn't really yield that much. Like I didn't get like that many, like there's nothing really happened for my career by like successfully making it through that moment.
Yeah.
And like failing would have been like, I would have been known for it. The risk
is
reward
not
is
in your
not,
favor,
so I don't know. I think like if I can't control the edit, I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm a pussy and maybe I need to face my fears. Maybe one day I will go on stage and my mic will be hot and it will be the Grammys and I'll go for it.
That's what we were talking about the other day about like, you know, the more successful you get, the less you have to face your fears. Right? You don't have to. Like,
totally.
You can exist. You can edit everything. You can take the time. You can create a track. You can take 6 months to put it out if you want. But sometimes the things you really want are right on the other side of what you fear.
Yeah.
So maybe that Super Bowl, maybe you're telling yourself right now, I don't need to do this, but it could just be comfort.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the more and more...
Because that shit looked all right, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was gonna be a...
He's saying a best man speech while he's in there. He mixed up the words.
Look, I just think the more and more that my career goes on and I feel like, you know, established and like I've kind of achieved things that I always dreamed of, I feel more inclined to prioritize like quality of life and happiness.
But what is that to you?
What is that? That's not like being like a month leading up to the Super Bowl, being like, oh my God, I have so much anxiety about like, imagine the month leading up to the Super Bowl when you're not performing on the Super Bowl compared to when you are. That being said, I'm well aware that I'm nowhere close to, I'm never going to be asked to perform at the Super Bowl.
No, I wasn't saying that. I'm saying like, even if you weren't going to be performing at the Super Bowl, you're still going to be on the greatest coastline on planet Earth and going, it's a little too rocky.
Yeah.
You know, so what is interesting to me is that like you will choose your distraction from your anxiety.
Yes.
Do you put yourself into film? Do you put yourself into music? But you still need to choose
You're
something.
right. I'm going to apply it somewhere. You're right. And we'll see. Time will tell. I just know that, man, it can be pretty stressful. Like especially as like a rapper. It's not like you know, doing stand up would be stressful too.
Have you never tried it?
No, I never have tried it.
Any interest?
Yeah.
You've had, I imagine, jokes. You're like, ooh, that would be a good stand-up joke.
No, and I am interested in trying it, but I have such respect for the art form that I know it's well beyond just being a funny human being, and it would require so much time and effort for me to be the stand-up comedian that I would like hope to be. Yeah. That I don't even want to try it until I'm ready to apply myself.
And you'd have to fail publicly in the beginning. That's
you have to fail publicly.
You're a famous person now, so like you going up, it's going to be rough.
Totally.
In the beginning.
Like I think when you say like, what does retirement look for? Like I do crave like one stand-up special. Like at some point in my, it could be when I'm 50. Wow. Like I would love to be able to
kind of mix music and, you know who did that well? Bo.
Yeah, Bo's
so like Bo is
yeah.
obviously a talented musician, but he also had jokes and he could kind of mix the two, and then he could use the music to kind of float in between the bits.
I could, and I'll tell you, there are like shows that I do sometimes that like, are like corporate or like just like where it's small.
You got some jokes in between.
And those are my favorite things where like I get to just chit chat in between. Like that's my favorite part of performing live is like not even pre-planning it, but like living in the moment, saying something, like seeing someone react, like actually being in the moment with the crowd, even if it's a small crowd. But I also don't like using music as a crutch. Like, you know what I mean? Like I do kind of want to just go up there with a microphone and just and do a stand-up special.
Maybe use it in the beginning as you start to build your act. And then once you have it, now you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a lot of times that's what like comics will do when they're trying to build a new hour. They'll have like 15 minutes left over from their last. And it's kind of a crutch to get through this new stuff.
Yeah.
Crutches maybe, there's a negative connotation, but it at least gets you there, allows you to try the new stuff without just bombing the entire time. But that could be cool.
Yeah.
And also a very different experience for an audience. Like, yeah, if they're going there, they're hearing hits, but then they're seeing these like stories, and you have punchlines built into the stories, and then there's
You're
more
right.
music.
This is an interesting idea. There's a lot that I want to do. I wonder. I think I have a good skill set for stand-up comedy. I respect the art form too much to just assume, like as confident as I am, I would if I went up and did stand-up right now, it would not go well.
It's humbling stand-up.
I'm sure.
It's humbling stand-up.
Did you ever feel like any of your live concerts went poorly due to like the anxiety?
Well, my first concert ever didn't necessarily go poorly, but I had never performed live in front of anybody. Like literally like the way the internet and everything works, like I could create a following online behind a laptop and then all of a sudden have to like be a rapper in front of 2,000 people, and I just didn't know how to pace myself. So the adrenaline was so high for me that the first song, I used all my energy.
So you're just out of breath.
I was gassed. Like the whole rest of the show, it felt like I was like, I just need to survive. I just need to survive this, like physically.
Yeah.
So I think everyone had a nice night that night, but I remember like then the next night I had New York City, and I was like, definitely need to go less hard song one. And I did. And then like, but I was really scared going into it. Like I was like, I never perform. Will I be a good live performer? And now I was like, oh yeah, very natural. Like I feel like I'm a great live performer, but there's something about being a rapper where there's a whole different swag that is required, where like if I even move my body in a corny way, even if I don't fuck up the words, but I just do a lame dance, I'll be like scarred by that. You know what I mean? And like the internet will run with that and be
But
like,
again,
what
your
a
persona is not trying to be the coolest rapper.
right. You're
like
right.
they might think that you're doing it on purpose to
You're
be
right.
funny.
Yeah.
I'm built to fail.
I thought of
that way,
I
yeah.
thought about that with the Emmys. Like if you went on there and you bombed, people in the audience would probably be thinking,
It's a bit.
oh, he's doing it.
Let me tell you, if I ever do live perform again, 100%, there
That's
will
the
be
bit.
a built-in failure plan B, where like if I fail,
In West Philadelphia.
we will just we will roll into the failure package. It might even be better than what would have happened if I didn't fail.
Yeah.
You know, but I will definitely have a plan for failure.
Has anybody not liked your stuff? Like anybody you admired not liked it? And what did that feel like?
A lot of people don't like Lil Dicky, the standalone rapper. Like, especially like, you know, your elitist journalists who like, you know, are like, you know.
How do you deal with criticism? How do you, like? Because let me just caveat this: is you're a very confident person.
Yeah.
I actually don't interpret it as arrogance. I just interpret it as like confidence, and you objectively, almost like
I analyze the facts at hand.
it's like it's almost autistic.
What a fire!
You know what I mean? Like you're like
call
this is the
yourself great.
data. And
Totally.
I would say that this thing is better than me, honestly, if I felt that way. And I'm sure there's people you think
Oh, yeah.
are better, and
Yes.
you would just objectively say
Yes.
it. So I don't interpret it as
Totally.
arrogance, but that's like, I'm sure there are people who might. How do you deal with criticism?
I try not to get wrapped up in it, but like, and I try
Sensitive to it at all,
I
or-
am. I try to avoid it, really. Like, I think
Really?
like what I would do is like, you know, back in the days, like I would read every comment that was
Yeah.
made about every song and like episode, and like
Yeah.
I would get like 95% positivity, but the 5% negativity
Eats at you?
Eats at me, and it changed my mood. And so I just like I just
Yeah.
realized that's gonna happen no matter what. There are oftentimes criticism, like there's probably criticism of me early in my career for my earliest Lil Dicky stuff that like at the time I was like, fuck that, I'm the greatest rapper in the world, and now I look back at it and I'm like,
Maybe it
what
was
worthy
fair.
criticism? Like, I did kind of suck.
Interesting.
And so like, and that was one thing, just because my mentality really hasn't changed. Like I've always felt like the shit that I'm making is great. And then like I'll look back on it and be like, maybe it's not. And so me knowing that I could always look back at whatever I think is great right now and view it a little differently makes me like not, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I try, what my favorite thing is for people, oftentimes people greet whatever Lil Dicky content is coming with immediate pessimism going into it.
And then get won over.
I love winning them over. Like I would much rather perform on stage at a random festival where I am one act and I go out there and I just see the same kind of guy who is predisposed to hate me in the crowd like this. And I just lock eyes with that person. And I eventually, like I see them going like, and like there's no better feeling than winning over a natural born hater.
Yeah. There's well, that's probably your life.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember seeing that, I think it was the first episode of Dave. Was it the first episode with YG and his boys in the studio? And that moment presents itself, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, they all think that I'm this kind of like awkward weirdo, and I'm gonna spit some bars. And in the first couple bars, you're like doing a teapot dance, and it's almost like, uh-oh, this might not go well.
We're easing into it.
Yes, which is, I think, a good choice.
Yeah.
If the first bar is just the greatest thing you ever heard, then the audience can also have that transition.
Yeah.
Great, okay.
Totally.
So interesting. So you like winning the people over. Now, yeah.
But look,
some people
I
you're
much
not going to
prefer
win.
to be like, what I crave deep down, it will never happen. What I crave deep down is like the undeniable love and respect of everyone on earth.
Yeah.
It's a worthy pursuit.
That's what I'm craving, and it will never happen. You know what I mean? But like, I like want to.
I crave deep down.
Like, at least respect.
I literally thought it was going to be like just inner peace. I just wanted to be happy with myself. It wasn't that.
The validation of every stranger, past and present.
But I know it's a problem. I know it's wrong.
Never having to search for inner peace.
Oh, fuck.
It'll never happen, and I have to be at peace with that. And,
Okay.
But like, yeah, I just kind of want to like, even if I'm not your cup of tea, I want to be able to get to a place where any criticism would be like, it's not my thing, but like, man, for what he does, he is great at it. Like, there are plenty, like, that's what I'm trying to.
Do you think there's a ceiling on that craving? I think, like, in terms of aspiration or whatever.
There is, I mean, the ceiling is the whole population of the earth, which is like, that's
growing.
The literal ceiling.
It's growing
you
every
know,
day.
and as you know, comedy doesn't travel well internationally. So
Gotta figure it out.
it's gonna be
Learn some Mandarin.
yeah. I don't know, but
What criticism hurts more, of the show or of the music?
Ooh.
the show, any criticism towards the show, I really like look at it as just like misguided criticism. Like to me, I don't know how you'd criticize the show. I hate to say it.
What about, there was like this.
But music, I kind of like, sometimes I'll, especially my old stuff, I'm like, I listen to it and I'm like, ooh. Like, so I get.
Why is that? Is you think because you put so much into the show, or why?
I just think that with the show, I like, music really is a 10,000 hour thing for me where like, I just like I had a naturally good starting place, but I've just developed my craft and just got better and better at rapping to where now, just the way I deliver it, just the way I just like really believe my own swag way more present day than like if I go back and watch 2013 videos. With the filmmaking and comedy and TV, I just think I naturally kind of rolled out of bed just already great at it. It's like more, it's just, it's less of a, you know, the way I'm talking to you right now is how I talk in the show. And like, I think I just like end up like, my brand of comedy, for example, I'm not like the best, like Will Ferrell is so great at like being an like putting on these like different characters and like dominating. Like my best form of comedy is just being myself, and the way I speak is funny. And my show is way more naturally the way I just am in life than like, if I started rapping right now, that kind of is like a little bit of like, I have to turn into like a little bit of a different superhero than I am when I wake up out of bed, you know?
There was that stuff with Theo, Vaughn, he was upset. Like, how do you deal with something like that?
I'm happy that you brought that up. So I have never stolen any jokes whatsoever.
But like, how do you handle that? Like, I don't think that.
Well, that particular instance, I think to myself, well, I don't understand why he would think that I haven't stolen, you know, to catch, I don't know if you guys are aware of the context of it. And I only recently am aware because I saw a comment that said.
It was just on the internet. And I think he was doing like a Barstool show. And you guys both had a similar idea in the show. right?
Yeah.
Or he had it in something, and then you had it on
a podcast.
He said it on
about
a pod,
the wooden
and then,
shirt thing.
Yeah, it was like a wooden shirt. And then you guys had it in the show.
Now, I remember when we came up with the wooden stuff in the writers' room, and it was totally built on a different idea that was about like a man whose entire house was made of wood down to the clothing, and then we ended up not going with that storyline.
Yeah.
Ended up doing one small, really inconsequential scene of my series where a guy was just selling wooden shirts.
Yeah.
I promise you, it wasn't. Whenever I see content of Theo Von's online as I'm scrolling, I totally think it's funny and I respect it. I've got no animosity. I've just never met him. We have so many mutual friends.
Yeah.
I always was under the understanding that like accusing a comedian of stealing jokes is like a major taboo.
It's the biggest,
It's a big deal.
I was like, well, just reach out to me and let's, because
Yeah.
I have nothing but respect from what I see of his content online, but I never have stolen any joke. That's really my immediate reaction.
Yeah.
It's not like, I'm not hurt by it. I'm just like, why would he be so insistent that when I never would.
Right. Two people can't have the same idea.
It's a pretty broad idea. Like
Yeah.
the idea of wooden clothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm sure I don't know.
See, it's kind of specific to the way you just said it.
But I'm sure there's
Men and women are different.
Very one-dimensional.
But yeah, I
Have you guys spoken at all?
No.
Why don't you guys just talk? Why not?
Yeah, I would.
Because I think a lot of times what would happen in these situations is, both sides explain their part, and then you go, oh, okay, I see why these two different comedians came to this conclusion, and it wasn't somebody that's trying to bite.
I'm definitely down to. I have no beef with him whatsoever. I don't like when if I post something and I see like stop stealing Theo's jokes. Like it's just I'd never have done that.
Yeah.
And I think there's only one joke in question. It's not like I've made like a career. You know what I mean? I don't even know what other jokes were even questioning.
In 3 seasons of television.
Right.
Yeah.
One joke.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think like now with the internet, there are so many more people putting things out that the possibility of two people having a similar idea is infinitely higher than back in the day where there would be 10 comedy specials a year.
Yeah.
And you just need to cross over in those 10. Now you have 1 million pieces of content that are out there in the world, and you're gonna see people with similar ideas. You see it happen with memes, you see it happen with, written pieces, you see all these types of things. So I don't think it like immediately means that one person is stealing from another.
All I know is that my soul feels very pure and clean. Like I
just think you guys are both great, and I would love you guys to both just be like, hey.
Set it up. You're friends with everybody, right?
I will.
Yeah.
I will set that up.
Yeah.
I will set that up. For you?
Yeah.
I will set that up.
great. Let's
go.
On the beach in Post
With Brad.
Yeah.
Put us in touch with BP.
That feels equivalent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have some verses that are like kind of wild. Like you'll be like bend over Michelle Obama is like an insane line.
Oh yeah. What is? Yeah.
Were there any lines that you wrote or even scenes from the show that you're like, yo, this can't go in?
All right, guys, let's take a break for a second. Listen, today's episode is proudly sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. They've been fighting for the people for over 35 years with a remarkable track record. They've recovered over $20 billion with a B dollars for their clients and have helped over 500,000 families. But here's the exciting news. Not only does Morgan & Morgan have their clients' backs, they got your backs too. In collaboration with us over here at Flagrant, they're going to give one lucky fan $2,000 and 2 tickets to catch your boy perform the Life Tour in Los Angeles this coming March, okay? Yes, you heard it right here. You could be the lucky winner. They're giving you $2,000 in cold hard cash and 2 tickets to my show at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. I mean, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and entering is incredibly easy. This is all you have to do. You just text Flagrant to For the People. That is 484-373-6753, and follow the prompt for your chance to win $2,000 and 2 tickets to my show. Just text Flagrant to For the People. That's 484-373-6753. Now let's get back to the show.
All right, guys, let's just face the facts. Sometimes you hit a gummy looking for a good time and nothing really happens, and sometimes you are gone. That is why we are partnering with Ketum to make hemp-derived, federally legal, blissful little gummies, and you're gonna love the taste, you're gonna love the high. There's no need for a medical card, it's perfect. Each product is lab tested for quality and freshness, and has been grown right here in the USA in a GMP-compliant facility since 2017. And right now, you can go to shopketum.com and use the code FLAGRANT for 25% off your entire order. And if you're not sure about Delta THC products, Kedem has just the offer for you. They know you're going to love their gummies, crispy treats, Delta flour, disposable pens, etc. Free shipping also available. Guys, you get 25% off. You get free shipping. If you're not sure, just give it a shot, see what happens. Go to shopkedem.com. Get your Delta 8 gummies and enjoy the rest of this episode.
Were there any lines you wrote or even scenes from the show that you're like, yo, this can't go in. This is too crazy. Like this bar.
Well,
is
first
like
off,
too,
I look
too
back
much.
at that line. It's like, what the hell was I thinking saying that? Crazy thing to say.
It's wild.
Have like the Obamas reached out at
No,
all?
but I
The
regret
kids?
saying that because first off, I do believe that like when you're rapping, like the rap that I grew up on was like Eminem, who was saying like the wildest
Hyperbole.
shit. Yeah, like
Yes.
hyperbole. There's nothing literal happening. Like,
Yeah.
and it was really just an ode to respect of like how great I think she is. You know,
What was the whole line? What was the whole line?
I said.
It's a bar.
What did I say?
Dub is Googling it, don't worry.
This is the Emmys right now.
I said, like, I forget the first part. It was like, in a year, I'm a bend over Michelle Obama. Like, I got to do it while I'm hot. I'm trying to get blue in most states like Barack. Which, that's a good line.
That's a good line.
And look, I honestly...
I just wanted you to rap on the show.
At the beginning of my career, unfortunately, I was kind of like at a desperate, like pathetic place of like, I gotta say some wild shit to like go viral, to like get noticed, to like have the opportunities I want. Which
I
is,
don't think that's desperate or pathetic.
I don't know. I look at it as a little low-hanging fruit.
But I think at that point in your life, you're just trying to get attention, and you see the people you look up to. You're looking up to, I imagine, Eminem. You're looking up to all these
Yeah.
other rappers. They're also doing it. So you're like, this is the genre.
I meant nothing by it. All I can tell you is like I love the Obamas. And
Well, we
like
know
I have
from the line.
I have the biggest fear. I have the biggest fear of like meeting them one day or like working with them and them being like, what about that thing
Have you
said?
met anybody that you
No.
had a bar about?
No.
Not one person that you've rapped about, you've crossed paths with.
Well, no. I would not. By the way, I haven't rapped negatively. Like even that
No,
line
not
is a positive
negative.
line.
Even saying that you are lusting over a woman and then you
I
meet
think
them.
I've been like talking about how much I love Drake for a decade before I actually met Drake.
And then so what happens?
Well, then, fortunately, I met Drake, and he knew about the show and loved it. Like,
Yeah,
I literally
yeah,
was at a bar, and like, literally, I turned around.
He's got good taste and he's plugged in.
Yeah,
Like,
and
yeah.
So it was just, he was like, "You're just the man I want to see. Like, I love your show so much. I watch it all the time." And I was like, I literally was, I was the.
But he didn't go, hi, I'm Aubrey.
He didn't need to. You're right.
That-
he didn't. Yeah. I'll tell you, I was the perfect combination of drunk and high. The moment I like kind of had that, I was floating.
It's divine.
Let me tell you, I looked unfair. I like couldn't have come. I know I was coming off really good. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was loose. I was like waiting my whole like adult life for this moment. But like I really was at the perfect like level of intoxicated to like handle it, you know? And
Okay.
I remember, like it was like a 10-minute conversation, exchange numbers. All my friends are at this bar with me. They're like off to the side. Like he walks away. I turn around. I go like, and then like I walk over to my friends and they were like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Honestly, I don't even know. I was like floating." It's great.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Have you flubbed a celebrity interaction? Like someone that you met that you were so excited to meet that you were just like, oof, not my best.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah. Give us that one. Whatever made you go,
We can bleep it. We can bleep the name, but tell us the story.
Let me think about it for a second.
He's running the numbers, bro. You can see it.
yeah.
Okay. Basically, DJ Khaled,
Okay.
who I was getting in my Freaky Friday music video.
Yeah.
The way that we shot like a few moments at the end where it was like DJ Khaled, Ed Sheeran, Kendall Jenner. Like I was in Chris Brown's body, then I switched into like these other bodies for like 10 seconds. So like we really were like loose in like how whatever their thing was gonna be, like what they said. And like so I was on my way to DJ Khaled. He agreed to be in the video to shoot and record his line. That was to be determined. So I was gonna pitch him on a number of things. I'm on the way to his house and I'm texting my director of the video. I'm being like, look, my dream version of what I would want him to do is be completely naked and be like, I'm DJ Khaled, like, and like make some sort of dick joke about like whatever we think like his dick is like. And as soon as I sent the text I realized I didn't send it to the director, I sent it to DJ Khaled.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Like as I'm on the way to, and I've never even met him. So I'm meeting him right now, and like no response. I pull up to his house, like I'm like, oh my god, like fuck, like. I ring the doorbell.
If he answers the door naked, he's a legend.
And then at that point, so he answers the door.
Yeah.
And it's totally normal. I'm thinking maybe he didn't even read the text, and or he did and doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's acting very normal. And at that point, I was like, because of that botched interaction, I bailed on the idea of even pitching anything envelope pushing to DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
I was like, let's play it safe and pitch him. I'm DJ Khaled. Why am I yelling? Which is like, you know, when he gets in the song, he's like, DJ. So I was like, let's just pitch him something like that. We get up to the studio. He's like, so what do you have in mind? And I'm like, what I'd love for you to do is be like, I'm DJ Khaled. Why am I yelling? And he was like, what else you got? And then I like thought he would just have accepted that pitch. And the only other pitches I had were like nude dick joke, like related type shit. And he was like, what else you got? And I was like, well, I was like, we could like make a dick joke. And he went, a dick joke? Like it felt as though he had never heard
the term
a dick joke.
Keep going.
And I was like, yeah, like, you know, like, you know, I'm Lil Dicky, like I make jokes about like my dick being small all the time. He was like, let's just do the first thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but man, that was fucking stressful. I was texting my director like in such confidence, you know, and I'm literally texting the man. I'm sure I've had other interactions where like I said something crazy by accident.
Wow.
On the subject of the nudity, the dick jokes, season 2, there's an episode that's very gay, for a less tactful way to say it.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm a repressed Indian kid. I'm uncomfortable watching this. How did the general public receive that episode? And how do you feel about it either way?
Producer?
No, it's with Benny.
With Benny. Yeah, with Benny.
So let me tell you, talk about a polarizing scene.
Break it down. Break it down.
I gotta
You
say,
almost lost me with that one.
I skipped an episode or two and went to the season finale.
Dave's
Beautiful
like,
season finale.
There's too many black people watching my show.
So, first and foremost,
I mean, it's unbelievably likable, right? It's so likable.
so
Like,
first
so
and
endearing.
First and foremost,
I'd like to apologize to Mason Cameron.
names. No, what you have to realize is we did not, me and Benny act that way.
That's crazy.
Like we literally.
Can you break it down for everybody just so we're all on the
This
same
guy's my
page?
best friend.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's like a Jewish, like privileged guy thing or something, but like, and I have other friendships that are similar where like, we shower together. We don't do it sexually. We're not like, you know, jerking each other off and like being sexual. We're
I
just
would rather
We're just
that.
talking naked in the shower.
Nah.
Dicks out, balls
Dicks
out.
out, balls out. And it's, yeah, like, so anyways.
Who's bigger?
Him.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, my dick looks like a raisin.
Have you seen it hard, though?
Him?
Yeah. You say you're a grower. He says he's a grower, so I'm just asking a follow-up. I'm a journalist.
I've seen him like I've seen him with some blood in his dick. I haven't seen him like fully.
Some blood.
Yeah.
But half juiced. Yeah.
But look, I also thought I was like, this is a really interesting dynamic that I think people will find funny minimally. We put it out, and I think like yes, there's like half the people who are like, man, you almost lost me with that.
Who pitches who on showering together naked?
Me and Benny.
In real life, not
It
in
just really happened organically, like very,
like how? What situation would present? We're in a rush.
He
Like-
meets me under the lens of like he reached out to me as a rapper, Lil Dicky, who like made all of his early music about how fucked up and small his dick is, and he is just like me. And so once we started hanging out, he was like, "You got to show me your dick." And like I'm not like some people would be like, "What?" to that question.
That's
but
not a weird question.
I've
with
lived
you.
a life showing all of my high school friends have seen my dick. Like everyone in my overnight campus, like, you know, it's just like.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I promise you, I don't care how like homophobic you are. If I showed you my dick and walked you through
would
it, you'd be
tell other
on the
people?
ground laughing. He would be slapping like.
You still got that skin thing that
yeah,
you
I
talk
could
about?
show you some shit that would like.
Do you have a photograph?
Show us.
Do you have a
Show us.
photograph?
Hold on. Show us.
No, I try not to photograph it.
Wait,
In person.
Yeah.
Show us the
Yeah.
dick.
I promise you that like I can tell like if we all kept hanging out for like 3 to 5 years, you would all see my dick in time. Like it's the type of thing that I
I
definitely.
can see. I mean, I honestly am curious right now. The shower
doing
together
3
is
to
very
5
different
minutes.
than seeing the dick.
It's
but
not that different.
I would see the dick.
It's not that different.
Wet is different.
It's not that different.
Wet
Anyway,
makes it different.
And the
though.
time, the duration is different.
Yeah, we just are really comfortable
What
with
is
each other. I
Being
mean,
naked and wet is crazy.
Alex, you don't want to see his dick?
You have zero curiosity.
You have curiosity.
You're being disingenuous.
Would you want to see a
Yeah,
cross
you're being
section? What if it was an
disingenuous.
exam or something like that? Just like a,
Can you just show them and then they'll report back to me?
the guys that season season 1 and 2, I was working.
Sorry, we went from not wanting to see your dick to, please, can you just in 1 minute? In 1 minute. Yo, that was the gayest shit you ever did. By the way, yo, cough up that piece, my boy.
So, yo, we got showers here.
The guys
He did
that
sell the dick well, though.
the guys that scored my show, that like make all the original composing for the show, are like 2 of my best friends out here, Henry and Jack, and they too had heard stories for years about my dick, and like no one feels like the brunt of like a schedule, like having to hand in episodes more than like the composers of the score, because like we have like such limited time to like make all, and we were just at a point where like everyone was so burnt out, and I could just tell they were like just crushed about like the amount of time that this would take to get it right over the next like 5 weeks, and I could see their spirits so low, and I said, guys, like. Really, what I did was they were behind, they were working, their backs were toward me, and they were asking to see my dick for a while. So this wasn't like sexual harassment.
Consensual, yeah.
Very consensual. But their backs are to me, they're working on their keyboards. I just got butt naked, and I just waited for them to turn around. And they turned around, and they looked, and the joy and the marvel and the seriousness at which they took they literally stopped what they were doing, got up, like literally like bent over,
like Jurassic Park.
They were like, I've never seen something. They were like, your dick is like a Pixar character, where it's like it's so
Like the old guy in Up.
fucked up and like wrong, but so like there's so much hope.
Nah, you're really selling
Bill
this shit.
Platypus.
There's so much hope and optimism. Like it feels like you can, like it can do anything, but like it can do nothing at the same
Why?
time.
Why?
It's really thick.
Like, give me a thickness.
All I know is I took a string one time and I measured the girth and the length, and I fell 10 percentile length, 90th percentile girth.
So that thick?
It can't be, but like I just know that when back in the day when I would try to stick my dick in a Gatorade bottle, it felt like a tight fit.
Okay. So thickness. Okay. And then after that,
Look,
That seems pretty cool, actually.
Crazy.
and also, well, it's
What show?
but there's a lot wrong with it. Like what happened was a few things.
Yeah.
One, born with a disease, I guess you'd call it, or a defect called hypospadias, where my pee hole is just in the wrong spot.
Condition.
Like where your pee hole is right in the middle,
yes,
mine is like right down here.
like a faucet.
Which I didn't even know was wrong until like I was like 16, and some guy was like, "Why is your pee hole there?" Because I was showing men my dick, because I thought there was other things wrong with it.
Oh, let's see it here.
Exactly.
Ah.
But there's versions of it. Like, look, version 1 is that looks a lot like my dick, right? Like a little bit. Like that. See how it's like. And then version 2, like it's like in the middle of the guy's shaft. That's not.
Oh my God.
And then version 3, it's at his nuts.
That's a pussy, bro.
hilarious.
That's a vagina.
I got version 1, so I'm okay.
Thank God.
there.
Okay.
But
yeah.
the version 3 actually seems kind of cool. That's like a cool.
These are uncirced.
No, they're circed. Well, I don't know. All I know, and then so besides that,
So are
I
you
also was
busting nuts
born.
out of your balls?
I'm busting nuts.
No,
No,
those
he's version
version
Oh,
three.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
version
Yeah,
3.
yeah.
Wait, but you
Wow.
bust
Straight
on your
from the
balls.
source.
I
It'll
bust,
go.
yeah.
You shoot down.
Yeah.
How do you pee?
I'll tell you, I pee sitting down. But so independent of the hypospadias, I also had my urethra was tangled to the
Right.
point where, like, if I didn't get surgery, emergency surgery right away, I wasn't going to be able to pee the right way. I wasn't going to be able to have kids. So they had to go in and perform it. They had to do surgery and like do all this
Lot of
shit,
baby
take
dick,
skin
dude.
away.
Yeah.
And I don't even know the facts at hand. I'm only like here as like a man, like just looking at my thing, and like I don't. My parents, I don't want to talk to them about it. It's like a little weird, and I don't
Yeah.
think they even know the facts at hand. My theory is they cut off a lot of my dick skin, like, and they had to replace my dick skin with other skin. And
Yeah.
I think like you know how like your balls are ribbed. I had to put this in the show, but
I saw that. Yeah.
My skin my whole dick is ribbed and it grows hair. Like if I just let my hair grow down there, my entire dick would have hair like a beard,
like a tree from like the Lorax.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that my dick is made of ball skin.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of scarring, and there's a whole lot of sensitivity. And then also, I had these little poppy seeds on my dick that like kind of developed. And I was ashamed.
What the fuck?
They're not poppy seeds. They look like poppy seeds.
The little black,
everything's in bagel
black dots started popping up, and I was like, "What is this? I gotta remove this." One of the black dots, they must have removed too far, and now there's like where that black dot was, there is a hole. Like so now when I pee, it goes out of my main pee hole, which is already in the wrong place, my main pee hole, and then there's another little hole that like every time, if I pee, that's why I pee sitting down.
Because you have to. Yeah.
If I peed standing up, I would just piss all over my
It's like when
own
you put your
leg.
thumb on a hose and it just fucking...
It's like, exactly that, or like, the Super Soakers where like they had like a thing where you could like turn it left and it would like go that way. It's like that.
Your dick's like a clarinet almost. Like it has multiple little holes you have to plug.
Yeah. So if I pee in a urinal, which I do oftentimes in public, because talk about, you can't pee sitting down in a public restroom. It's like disgusting what men do in the stalls of a I can't even believe it. There's like shit and piss like everywhere.
I do it every time.
Yeah, this guy, he's
Cheek to bowl. I don't even...
He's gonna wipe the bowl down.
Yeah, he lifts the seat up and sits right on.
I'll plug, so I piss on my finger every time. If I'm peeing standing up, that means I'm willingly pissing on my finger and the overflow is just going down on my nuts.
Wow.
And it's small.
But girthy.
I think girthy, and I hid it for my whole life. I avoid every time that like people were getting together and like playing spin the bottle where like maybe you'd like get your dick touched. I was like sick that night because I was like, no one can know. And then eventually I like, just decided to put it in the show and like own it. And the thing that I realized as an adult is like oftentimes women aren't even aware of what a dick's supposed to look like, more or less. And like there's no different, it's all weird to them,
Right.
This is always a foreign like snout coming out of a man's hips. And I just have a different version of it that it's functional though, and there's value to the girth I found.
Yeah, and
so
it gets hard.
Do you have a girlfriend now?
Yeah.
Did you have to introduce her to it, or did she know from the show? Did she know from your material?
She knew from the show.
Okay. And enjoy it like.
Honestly, it was I met her so like right before my show was about to come out, and like very early in the process, I was like, "Look, I'm about to come out with this show. This is what I'm thinking in my head, not what I'm saying to her.
Yeah.
I'm about to come out with this show where I'm literally like, maybe I was getting away with people not knowing, but now I'm putting almost a bullseye on my dick. Now, like I feel like it's like being like, well, let me invent. And so I showed her the episode. First scene of the first episode is me having this entire breakdown with the urologist.
Yeah.
And she like loved it, and she accepted me for me, and we have a great relationship. And she loves. I don't even want to, because I know she's a grown woman with parents, and I don't even want to say she loves my dick, but she loves my dick.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She cherishes it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have women ever reacted with aversion at any point in your life?
One time, and it was like the first time. Which was hard.
Oh no, what happened?
A girl said, wait, like.
That's actually way is reasonable.
She was like, wait, isn't the pee hole supposed to be there? And I couldn't believe it. It was like, I'm
mortifying.
I'm fucked for life.
She was a slut. She
No,
saw too many.
How did she know where
she should know.
So the top of it is just like
Shiny.
mannequin tips?
Sheen.
It's like a Christmas ornament.
Sheen. It's like a Christmas ornament.
Wow.
Just shiny and...
Honestly, it looks like I have half a head almost. Like it looks like, take your head, right?
Yeah. My dickhead?
Yeah, take your dick head.
Yeah.
And then right where the pee hole is,
Crazy.
take a knife and just cut it in half.
So it's flat at the top? Yeah. Is it?
I want to show you. So, because it's a little. It's like
a
it's,
hammerhead?
It feels like it's that. It's that thing in the top in the left. It's the left one. It's that. Which isn't that weird. Like I thought everyone's dick looked like that.
Yeah, that's not that
I
weird.
didn't know that.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little dispopped.
Yeah, that's not that
No,
crazy.
there's more to it. There's more to it.
What do you think's weirder? What you have or just foreskin?
What would I have? Because there's a lot of things I can do that, like I can.
Wait, did your parents circumcise you as well?
Yeah, I'm like overly certain. I'm like missing too much meat down there to the point where I think I have less sensitivity.
Why? Wow.
But you last longer, probably.
Yeah. there was a phase of my life when I was like 24 where I prematurely ejaculated. Like I could not prevent myself from prematurely ejaculating. Like every time I had sex, I would come within the first 10 seconds.
T&B. Yeah.
But
touch and bust.
Because I don't have that long of a boner, and because the dick, stays relatively with blood in it, I would just pretend that I didn't come and I
just
would
keep fucking.
Keep fucking.
Smart.
And then fake an orgasm whenever it's so appropriate. Yeah, whenever
50 pumps.
Smart.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was just faking orgasms for so long.
So does cum come out of both sides? Is it that top and also the side of the middle?
That's a question I get asked a lot. And and the way that I come is I don't like shoot cum, like I kind of just like ooze cum out of like the edge of my dick.
Like it's a sewer drain or something.
It's like
slime.
And like when your hand is like here, my hand is always like, I'd have to like get a camera. But I think cum does come out of that second small hole, but it just, in a way that like, it's just glistening.
It's like weeping.
It's glistening, yeah. It's not like, it's not gonna shoot like, it's
but
not like a
expressing
wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like a sponge in a way.
It's glistening.
Like it glistens.
So funny to say about coming on your own balls.
But like there's not a lot of cum that comes out, because I don't think I'm a little worried at the lack of cum. I worry that I don't know if I'm coming enough. Like, I don't know what's normal. There's definitely every time I jerk off, there's just cum all over like the bottom half of my dick and like my hand, but like it never goes anywhere. Now if I straighten my dick, because my dick has a hitch. And I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, because they said it's enough about the dick. And I can't believe that every interview I do devolve, but I really don't bring it up, and I do think it's interesting.
Yeah, it's medical trauma. You should be able to talk about it.
If I straighten
That's
this,
true.
Okay,
my favorite way to come
Yes. Silly string.
Guy. Oh.
is taking my like little bit of a bent dick
Yeah.
and straightening it,
Oh.
and then just sitting there and waiting. And not even moving. And if I'm high enough and there's good shit going on in that screen in front of me.
You don't even have to jerk off to nut?
By the way, I used to be able to come hands-free.
There's no way.
Before I got on Propecia for hair loss.
Dave, come on.
Before I got on Propecia,
I don't think you need Propecia, to be honest.
I got ahead of it. Before I don't know. I just, I always heard people say like, oh, I wish I started like a year earlier, because like Propecia stops you in its tracks.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't make hair grow. So I just wanted my tracks to be stopped. Anyways, before, like, I think it does lower my sex drive a little bit, Propecia.
Yeah.
I was tragically horny. Like I was
needed
prematurely
it.
ejaculating. Yeah, now I have a normal sex drive.
This is
and
great.
before, I could sit there and think, and and if I
There's
push,
no way.
I'm telling you, I
With
could do
just
it.
your mind.
Just my
With
mind.
The power of your mind.
You push the way you push when you're pooping.
Like a cum Jedi.
And and that is a great way to come. I mean, have you guys had a wet dream?
Oh, yeah, of course.
yeah.
There's no
Nocturnally
better
missed.
way to come than a wet dream. That's the best. My best sexual moments of my life were the 3 wet dreams that I had.
You only had 3?
Yeah.
Damn.
I know. I want more.
I've never had.
Take me through all 3.
I've never had.
Wet dream number 1. We were at Seeds of Peace International Camp in Maine, and
The seeds of peace? Come on, dude.
yeah. And
I know,
I
Good, dude.
it wasn't really a sexually charged
good.
atmosphere, and I just was like, it's a 3-week thing. I'm gonna wait. I was like, I want to wait to come till I'm home in 4 weeks and jerk off, like have the best jerk off of my life with the right porn.
You had a ceasefire. Basically.
How old were you?
Like 14.
Okay.
And then I came like in my dream, a girl in a red dress,
Oh, wow.
just
Like the Matrix.
constantly evolving. Can't even put like she was brunette, but like she's constantly evolving. And I just felt like I was in my dream. I felt like I was. You know when you piss in reality and you piss for like a minute?
Yeah.
In my dream, I was pissing cum. It was like a minute of just like free flowing cum, like just pissing. And then I woke up and I just realized I had cum. That was number 1.
Can you describe what seeds of pieces so people know what the environment was that you came in?
It's a really great organization that actually brings
I'm crying for real.
children from different conflict groups together. Like Israel and Palestine.
No way.
India, Pakistan, and
So you
everyone
would just rain and cum on a bunch of Palestinian kids on the bunk below.
My bunk was me. It was me and Indians and Pakistanis.
Oh wow!
And I was the only American in my bunk, and it was like they let 15 Americans in to like observe the whole thing because it really is super interesting.
Yeah.
And I came, and right above me was Abhishek. I don't know.
Such an Indian name.
Yeah, I don't think he knew. But that, and then I came one time. I was like celibate, like for a year, purely out of fear. I just found sexual experiences, like because of my, I guess, neuroticism, just the pros never outweighed the cons. Like whatever value that sex was having in the moment, like paled in comparison to like the next day, wondering like if my life would be forever altered.
STD,
STD, pregnant. Like it just felt like, man, what a dangerous game we're playing. I got to stop having sex for a year because I need to focus on like more. Like I can't. Like I was being so derailed by like thinking about what went wrong. Yeah. So I didn't have sex for a year, and I had a wet dream. I was on tour, and you know, when you're on tour, you really want to hook up. I think every city is like a different opportunity, and I just was like really sticking true to it. And I just came in my pants. I think it was San Antonio. Came right there.
So, what do you mean? While you were sleeping, though, right?
Yeah, wet dream.
But you had pants on?
No, okay, my underwear.
Okay. I just thought you were
sorry.
by a bus stop in San Antonio.
How many wet dreams have you guys had?
Innumerable.
A bunch. I can't remember.
Never had one.
Do you know what I'm saying when I say that? Like, do you not? Like, for me, I'm like, that is the best orgasm a man can have.
It was great, but then you got to get
I had
up
one
and
next
change.
to my
It's a
wife
whole
once.
thing.
And I remember waking up looking at her, sucker.
Yeah. I mean, there's something really free about being able to just come with no hands and just like piss it out.
Yeah, it's a freebie, 100%. Yeah. Okay, it really is. Okay, and then the third one.
The third one was like, it was really uneventful. It was more recent. I just came. It was like a time when
nothing crazy.
Nothing. It was really just. All I know is there's three.
You could look at your.
But I wish there was more.
And watch porn and then just come without anything.
I don't know if I could do it now. I think my sex drive's a little lower. But now I can certainly straighten my dick. And just there's something really, and like I said, when I straighten it, if I come, there is a little more life to the output. It doesn't, it's still not doing what I'm seeing in porn, but it's doing more than just like
dribbling
out. There's more chutzpah.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm scared that I have like debunked semen.
Well, you'll find out.
I'll find out.
Yeah.
Have you looked into it? Have you?
No, that's the first thing. They're going to test my semen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like no pregnancy scares up to this point or anything like that?
No pregnancy scares. There are times where, you're on spring break in Australia and the condom broke and you have to go to get the morning after pill for a girl that you don't even know, and they don't even let you get it without the girl in Australia. Like you have to. And then I didn't know, and then so I had to have my friend who wasn't the girl I had sex with come and pretend that it was her, which was all weird.
Did you hang out with the girl? Did you watch her take it, or you took her word for it?
I had to take her word for it because we had to leave.
So you just
I got to say, I was kind of under. It was literally it was crazy when I came back with the pill and I looked for her in like the hotel area. I'm not kidding. It sounds like a lie. She was literally in the middle of a rugby team. So she's talking to a group of 10 men, just her like chit-chatting with 10 men. And I had to go up to her and be like, hey, like, I don't know if you're comfortable with like she knew the condom broke. She wasn't stressed.
Did she know you went to get the B?
No. I was like so stressed. I don't know where she went. Like she didn't like it was the type of spring break thing where it was like she was an American in my spring break program. She had her own bed. Like she didn't sleep in the same bed. In the morning I just went and got. I was like, and then I just wanted to hand. And then you have to take two. Like one, at least what I found in the Australian version of this was she takes one now. I saw her take that one, and then I had to take off and go back to where I was going, where she was staying. And I said, please, will you take it? And I think she did. I haven't gotten a phone call.
Did you check in to make sure she did? Like, how do you do that?
I thought that was like be really rude.
It would be rude, but you still want to know.
Yeah, but I don't want to dehumanize and
Well, literally, that's what you're doing. You're dehumanizing.
That is true. That is actually definitionally correct.
Exactly.
Not dehumanize the fully spawned human.
There you go. There you go. don't want to dehumanize while you're hitting
pounding me.
Also that.
Like, yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, Dave, listen.
I have one more question.
Yes.
I have one more question. So I know you're a huge fan of Kanye West.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
How has
yes.
that been?
Yes. Are you guys still friends?
You've heard about this whole anti-Semitism thing he's been talking about?
What?
Yeah. Apparently he hates Jews, apparently, is what he was saying.
Not Kanye.
Look, all I can tell you is my experience with Kanye West, which was in 2017. I ended up getting involved in his he did a basketball run. I literally met him on the basketball court. First time meeting Kanye, by the way, full court 3-on-3, me guarding Kanye.
Oh, why was it full court 3-on-3?
Just to get that run in. And we only had 6 people there.
But whose idea was that? Why not keep it on the half?
I think people just wanted to exercise more.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's my first time meeting him.
How was he? How did
he play?
Yeah.
Very interesting game. Like, good shooter, but
I feel like a very awkward form.
He just is so weirdly good at finishing around the hoop in a way that you're like, that's never going to work. And he like does these weird finger rolls that go in fairly consistent.
Wait, Kanye can hoop?
Yeah.
Wow.
He can hoop a little bit. Anyways,
Forgiven.
my experience with him, I would like play basketball with him for like a year, like twice a week, and like it involved into like he would invite me to come to his workplace and like show me the new music he's working on and the clothing, and like I like had a real, and he was nothing but nice to me the entire time. Like truly, like was one of the nicest. Like, and this is my hero. Like no one, I told him to his face, I don't know if I would have the self-belief that I have if I wasn't like my formative years weren't like listening to this other person having this like insane self-belief in himself and like that being the soundtrack to my life. And I believe that, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I owe a lot to his art for like making me, my attitude is probably formed by like early Kanye. And we had a great relationship. He's like, he changed his number at some point, like to the point where like, you know, he does that a lot. I think where he changes his number.
You probably have to at that level.
Changes his team. And I just lost touch with him for, you know, just the way, and I haven't seen him in like 4 years. And I obviously see all the things that, and I was like surprised because like, I don't think in his heart Kanye dislikes Jewish people. You know, I know he knows I'm Jewish. I know he likes me. You know what I mean? So in my heart, I feel like he probably said something and it was the wrong thing. I'm not denying that he'll say the wrong thing often. You know what I mean? Like, I think he might have said the wrong thing. People got outraged. I think the thing that he can't stand the most is when people tell him what he can or cannot say.
So then he leans into
into it. And that's the reality. Now, I don't think you should be leaning into it. I'm not saying what he did is the right, like, I think that there should be a sensitivity to, like, Jewish people, you know.
You don't think that at his core there's anti-Semitism?
I don't. I don't think so.
at his core is rebellion. And right now, this is the thing.
That's kind of what, now this is really me theorizing. I'm not that close to the situation. I played basketball with him like for a year, but let me tell you, he was the sweetest man. Like, I watched him interact with a variety of different people, being really nice. And so that's,
I can see that with him, like just being such a, I don't want to say contrarian, actually just caring about freedom so much that...
That's the thing. I really think that, like, the Trump hat, like, do I think he, like, loves Trump's policies? No. I think he wore the hat one time. People were like, you can't wear that. And then he wore it for a year.
No, I'm going to do it,
I think he does feel like we're controlled a lot by, like, media and, like, opinion. And I kind of see a lot of interesting thought process in terms of, like, him being at the forefront of, like, he really is always ahead of the curve in a lot of things. That being said, you know, my mother is outraged by his comments, and rightfully so. But I think at his core, I really believe he's a good guy.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
You're friends with both of them. Who's the better artist, Drake or Kanye?
Better artist?
Artist.
Man, I can't even. They're both, here's what I'll say. I was in the studio one time with Kanye, and it was just like me and Kanye and one other man, and it was like already I'm like, this is the best day of my life. Like I'm like showing him the Freaky Friday music video before it's even out. I have my best bullet of content that I've ever had before it comes out to like show.
Did he watch?
Yeah, and he was like, that's amazing. And then Drake walked in.
Get the fuck.
And I had no idea Drake was even coming. And I'm like,
so they were in the studio together?
This was a while ago, but yes, they've worked together plenty of times. This is back in like 2017.
They have like a real frenemy thing.
And I'm in there with both of them, and I took the opportunity to be like, fellas, let me just tell both of you while you're here that you guys are so by far my favorite two artists of all time, that whoever is third, what a sizable gap there is between you two and that third place. And that's how I feel about them. Like, I think Kanye was coming when I was a kid, and I love Kanye's music. And like, you know, not only just the messaging behind like the ambition, but also the musicality and like doing like, that shit sounds better than ever. And it's like so original and so great.
Is insane,
and Drake came along right when I became like a rapper. And like, man, nothing has inspired me more as an actual rapper and musical artist than Drake. Like that guy, every time I feel like I'm like hitting a lull as a rapper and I'm like, I don't know how much I want to go to the studio today, because like I kind of am a little bit like in a writer's blocky situation where I'm not loving. Then Drake drops like the most inspiring shit I've ever heard and makes me like total. And both of them have been so nice to me. So I can't really delineate between Drake and Kanye. They're just my favorite artists ever.
I also want to know, whenever you get into a situation, like you're at like a party and there's someone that you really admire that's there, what is your protocol for how to interact with them? Because you're just a regular dude from Philly, all of a sudden now you're at these Hollywood parties.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I won't. You know, I'll try to have an organic, you know, I won't like be like angling the whole time, like, okay, there's Brad Pitt over there, I'm gonna go inch my way closer to him, hope he sees me. I'm not really strategic like that, but if I end up being in the same conversation, look, they either have seen my work, and honestly, if they have, they probably really respect me and like me, or they've never seen my work, and I'm just a guy. And I think everything I've done in my career has spawned off the premise of the way I behave in real life tends to be a way that people enjoy. Like, I really just started as like an enjoyable, funny, conversationally pleasing man. And that's how I carry myself. So I just act the way I act with whoever I'm meeting, not with like designs of like winning them over and getting them in my show, but like I just want, the same way I'd want to be liked by anybody. I try to be liked by whoever I'm talking to and try to be a charming version of myself. And oftentimes it leads to positive creative synergy if later I'm like, I have a great idea for this person. Oh, I met them at that one party. Like when I call them, like, I remember that guy. He's cool. He's nice. He's not a weird guy. A lot of artists are really introverted and like don't want to be approached and don't want to be talked to. I'm just not that way. Like anytime a fan comes up to me and talks to me, like I find it minimally, even if it's the most brutally awkward interaction ever, I'm like, what a unique human interaction that was that I'll forever remember the specificity of and be able to like mine comedy from. Yeah. Or they'll be like really normal and shower me with praise. Like either way I don't lose, you know? So I just think I approach everything the same way I'm talking to anybody. And that I think is why a lot of these icons resonate with me, because they can tell that I'm just being myself.
But you're comfortable complimenting them and telling them how much you admire them.
Oh, yeah. Like I know how much it means to me when Drake and Kanye tell me they fuck with me. So I know how much maybe it'll mean to someone else if I tell them. I mean, who knows? It doesn't mean anything to Brad Pitt, but like, I sure in my email to Brad Pitt, I certainly said, you have like totally defined like cinema for me for my whole, you know what I mean? Like, and it's true. And the guys like Brad Pitt work their ass off. And
so that
like,
means a lot to them.
Yeah, they want to influence a generation and a culture, and I think they like hearing that like these new wave of people wouldn't be doing
inspired for sure.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think there's sometimes people maybe in their discomfort withhold their true feelings or admiration for the person that they're talking to.
A lot of posture. I don't posture.
Yeah.
I like really keep it real at all times.
And I think that is genuinely accepted. Like people like that, especially if it's coming from a real place. Not like you're trying to schmooze them, but when you really, I don't know, I've always felt that like when I really admire someone for a specific thing, not that they're just the famous person around, I really fucking admire them. The conversation is so easy. Yeah. Because you have a million things that you want to say that are nuanced and specific, and they can see that you actually care about the art or the thing that they're doing. Yeah. And it's the easiest flow in the world. It's always uncomfortable, like, when I just don't admire them and I don't care. And in those situations, I'm not going to bother you. I don't care how famous you are. But yeah, I think that is a good point. Lead with what you fucking care about.
I really think the core of my entire being and the success I've had really comes from being yourself. Like I think that's the reason that I'm able to be a white rapper making jokes in a predominantly black landscape, because I'm just not coming in and like trying to like act like Mr. Cool Guy. I'm just like being myself.
Yeah. Be yourself, guys.
That's cool.
We're here with Dave.
Guys,
Thank you so much.
I've had so much fun. Oh wow, 3 hours and 17 minutes of a
No,
That's
it's the time.
3:17. Guys, go check out Peanut
Yeah,
right now.
Peanut, the
Listen
dance
to it. Go check out HAHAHA
Yeah.
on YouTube right now. And then go check out whatever future projects Dave's going to cook up. We're excited to see them, my
Guys,
boy.
thank you for having me. This was so fun.
This was great.
This is great.
Thank
And
you,
one day
Brady.
we're going to see that joint.
I really believe.
I think it's going to happen.
years. He
I
said
think it's gonna happen.
3 to 5 years exactly.
I do too. I really do.
Guys, Dave Burd, everybody.
Thank you.